beady little eyes, hips that sashay. Welcome to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
I think we should find new things about us that are more indicative of our relationship as co-hosts. Like what? I don't know. I don't have beady eyes. Your hips don't sashay. Or do I? And do yours?
You've made that claim about my hips before, not me. That's not...
okay, then I stand corrected. I was right the first time. You do. You swish. So welcome to the Jim Norton and Sam Roberts extravaganza.
It is going to be an extravaganza today. It's a big, big show today.
I hope so. We have, I walked in, I'm like, do we have anybody in today? Because I check the email at night and I forget to check it sometimes in the morning. We have John Taffer coming in, and Lisa Lampanelli. It would be nice to have Lisa in here. We've never had her in.
Yeah, I interviewed her once when she did Celebrity Apprentice, and I had a really good time with her.
Yeah, I really like her. I know her for many years.
But yeah, she's gone through a lot. I mean, lost all that weight, went through the divorce. She did Celebrity Apprentice with Trump. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she's married now, though, I think, isn't she?
I don't... Did she get married
divorce
for
the guy
third time?
Oh, it was her second. I remember her... The first time I met Lisa...
She divorced whatever that guy's name was, Joey Big Balls or something.
Oh,
I can't remember what she
said.
Talked about him.
I met Lisa probably mid-90s with whoever she was married to, her first husband. Like, this is way...
During the dot-com boom?
What's that?
During the dot-com boom?
You know, it might have even been... When was the dot-com boom? Might have been before
90s.
then. Might have been before then.
Yeah, I guess it was the later 90s.
I believe it was in a gig in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, if I remember correctly. The Italian Villa East. But that could be just me creating a memory. I'll figure it out. I'll ask her and she'll go, I don't fucking know. Like, she's going to have no idea.
Yeah, no.
Like, I have a vague memory. She'll have no idea.
None.
At all. She's
None.
like the Comedy Cellar. You know, she's not going to know.
And then John Taffer, I am a big John Taffer fan.
Well, I'm happy he's coming in.
Yeah.
I met him that one day. He seemed fine.
You never
lovely.
watched Bar Rescue?
Yeah, never.
I can't.
But I know it's a huge show.
Oh, my God. I have sat there. I watch Bar Rescue like I watch SVU. Like, just sit there and settle in.
But that's not a good... Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like, I watch SVU all the time.
Yeah, we don't know that, though. So you're saying, like I watch SVU, and I'm like, is that never?
Oh.
Because I can say the same thing.
Yeah.
I never watch SVU.
No, I'll turn on Spike, and I'll sit there and watch episode after episode of Bar Rescue the way I'll turn on USA and watch episode after episode of SVU.
Oh, you just love it.
I love it. Like, Jess thought there was something wrong with me yesterday, like I was depressed or something, because she noticed I had my comfort show on, and I just kept watching episodes of it. And she was like, you got the Sunday blues or something? What's going on? And I was like, no, what do you mean? I'm good. She was like, why? Your comfort show's on.
You have a comfort show?
I didn't realize that that's what she thought. Maybe it's something that I do every time I'm like, fuck this, and just turn on Bar Rescue. I didn't realize that that's what she associated it with.
Or maybe she hates it and she wants you to stop watching it, so she figures if you start thinking of it as your comfort show, you'll become like, oh, I can't watch this.
No way.
My comfort show.
I'll associate it with like a nice warm blanket. Oh, it's Bar Rescue.
Hey, I'm fine, by the way, but I'm just going to watch some Bar Rescue.
Yeah. Uh-oh, she calls my mom. This is not good. He's watching the show again.
We have a great date ahead of us tonight, too. Tonight is the day of the big Rich Voss roast.
Yes, I got an invite, finally, after I called Voss out on it. I am sure that I was not considered initially.
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think he was covering his tracks when we had Voss on the show last week, because I said I was not invited to the Rich Voss roast, and he acted like befuddled by the whole thing.
Well, he didn't say. He probably did. His producer, or whoever's doing the roast, this woman, she sent me an email, Kate, I think her name is. Mm-hmm. So he probably didn't have anything to do with it, but again, he probably didn't put your name on any kind of a list. He's stupid.
He is. But, and that will be the theme of the evening, I think.
I have a feeling, people are going to mention how stupid he really is.
Well, I did. I got like an email from the event. Hey, there's an event going on, service thing, that said this was happening. And so I emailed back, so I'm assuming that means I'm on the list to get in. But every time that I don't have like a role at a thing, I'm just like invited and they're saying I'm on a guest list, I'm always concerned that I'm going to show up and
not be on the list
and get to the door and they'll be like, yeah, I don't know. And they're not going to know who I am. And I'm going to,
Sure. You should feel that way every day coming here. That's how I feel at the elevators. Whenever I go to swipe my fucking thing, I'm like, this is not going to work today.
Yeah. You just check in to see if your photo is still in the lobby. Like, is it?
I've seen our photo in the lobby once. I'm sure it pops up, but I've seen it once. I don't stand out there and look for it, but I always take a little look.
Yeah.
When I walk through. By the way, Travis, you made me laugh very hard right before the show starts because big news is that the judge ruled making a murderer confession has been improperly obtained for one of the two inmates in making a murderer. And how come you couldn't find information on it?
So this story hit like Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I think it was Friday.
And I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, that's like over the weekend when I'm compiling stories for Monday, I'll save like the really good ones, even if they're a few days old, because I know that we're going to want to talk about them.
Sure.
So last night I'm making our news email that I send out to everybody, and I was like, oh, right, the Dassey story. So I went to Google News so I could find a link, and 3 times typed in Eric Dassey, and wondered why I got no results.
And you're like, I'm spelling it with a K.
I swear I read this on Thursday.
So the fans at Twitter is really ruining the show and the preparation of the show.
Completely forgot that his name's Brendan Dassey.
Yeah, that's very funny. Well, thank you. That is a very, very realistic Twitter photo.
Yeah.
It's just natural now.
Yeah, that's who I think of. I think of both of them as just Eric Dassey.
Like the only Dassey that you think of.
I do miss E-Rock. I miss seeing E-Rock a lot, and I miss having him here.
You do?
Oh, fuck yes.
Do you think he'd get ribbed a little bit if he were here?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he'd care for the Eric Dassey one, but he'd get it.
Yeah.
He would understand that it looked like him. He might even enjoy that one.
No, he'd be pretty pissed.
Maybe he would be. Maybe I'm just waxing poetic.
Yeah, I don't remember him ever having a good sense of humor about E-Rock parody anythings.
Hey.
Ever. No, he hated all of them.
He did get very mad at me for that one picture I posted when I said he looked like Brendan Dassey.
Right. So yeah, he texted you and asked you to take the photo off your Twitter. I don't know why you would think he'd say, oh yeah, Eric, he'd get it. He'd be okay with it.
He did apologize for that. He goes, hey man, I'm sorry. So he was cool about it after. It just took a day.
Yeah, but do you think that he would be cool if you were like, oh, okay, so I just put the photo back up then?
I don't know. I think he felt bad that because I was annoyed at him. I'm like, yeah, you're mad about that? Like all the nonsense we do in this?
That's why you apologized, because you were mad at him.
Well, maybe.
It wasn't because he saw the error of his ways. It was because Papa Jimmy was mad.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. And he's just like, his codependency started to shine through a little bit.
And I also think, like, if you look back historically, he's taken way more shit than anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
He has taken a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So he's probably earned a few, like, I don't want that.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't freak out. I was just annoyed, like, of all the things. It wasn't even that mean a joke. It was like, he looked like Brendan Dassey. Like,
he had a whole jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember
he almost died.
Remember when the blood vessels in his eyes started to burst?
Is that when I was laughing?
No. You're probably laughing then. I meant that was while he was throwing up mayonnaise so hard that his blood vessels in his eyes burst.
Oh, that was the cinnamon challenge.
No, the cinnamon challenge was when his lungs almost closed.
He almost died.
Yeah.
Like, he literally almost died.
He did almost die.
Right,
That was at the XM studio.
Travis, you're on video laughing.
I am.
When that was happening. As everybody was noticing, like, oh no, have we gone too far?
It
Travis
quickly
said,
turned, though.
this is great. This is great.
Yeah, I was very concerned about Eric suing us or dying and getting sued and the show ending. All I was thinking was the show's over.
You noticed that?
And a possible lawsuit.
Yeah.
Not his life is over. Like,
No,
no, don't let's be the end of the show.
Nah, the legal stuff.
Right, right.
It was all the legal stuff.
Because that is what affects your pocketbook.
Yeah, I mean, and everything else. It just would have been very bad news.
Yeah.
It would have been really bad news if he died that day.
Because
the show would have been canceled and I would have been in trouble financially. And in every other way, I would have been in deep trouble.
Right, you would have been in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, that's the stuff that was so much fun, all that crazy shit. But we're just not allowed to do that stuff anymore. Like,
I mean, it's also, as it turns out, people almost die sometimes.
I don't even mean that one. I
So
mean
you
in
probably
general.
shouldn't do it.
Anything with interns, they freak out about it if it's not totally mild. It's not that we've changed and we don't want to do it. We just can't. They won't let you do it. And if anything happens, they'll fire you immediately and you'll be part of a lawsuit. It's just a nightmare.
I mean, we wrapped up D-Bag in plastic and put lipstick on him and made him run around in the hall.
I know.
Cocksucker red lipstick.
Cocksucker red lipstick.
But that's even mild. You imagine if we had suggested that back in 2006, everyone in the studio would have been like, well, that's what we want to do with him? No, throw dog shit in his hair.
Yeah,
Like it never would have flown something that, and even that he couldn't take.
What did Eric do outside Fox News with a cake?
Oh my God, he fucking smashed the cake into his own face, which was just an instinct for him.
Yeah, he just saw that they had a cake on their
Yeah,
TV
we just wondered
show.
where Eric was.
And then he just took the cake and tried to eat it quick.
What was he yelling?
I want cake, I want cake.
Was that it?
I don't know.
Didn't he yell something? Can we check it on?
I'm hungry.
He really, look, as much shit as he gets, he would do anything.
I miss E-Rock. I believe I'm
the greatest.
I'm a big E-Rock supporter. I've always been a big proponent of E-Rock. Mm-hmm. I think he brings a lot, and I think he is invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he really does say no very rarely. And when he does, it's always funny, and
he pulls it off every time.
Yeah.
It's Tequila and Donut Day.
Plus, even when he says no, you can kind of convince him to do it anyway. you can wear him down a little bit. Because usually he doesn't want to, like, deal with it so much. So he's like, fine, if I do it, will you just leave me alone? And we go,
You're saying he's, like, easily convinced? He's impressionable.
He doesn't want to deal with it, so he'll just do it instead.
He's a bit of a simpleton, and I mean that as two different words.
You mean because he's simple and a ton?
Yeah.
Oh.
This woman watched E-Rock get smashed. I forgot what he was yelling, but it was very funny.
You know she did chase him into the desert.
E-Rock's still back there.
Yeah,
He's waving his arms.
Pretty much.
Jumping.
You really are on camera.
Great champagne. All right, Guy, drink this.
Where'd she go?
This is really bad quality.
There she is right there.
So we're doing
Room audio.
Why not, right?
E-Rock.
Who's hiding Brian?
E-Rock sends. She's running now. She has the cake. E-Rock took it.
He smashed it in his own face.
How you doing? Rock and roll.
That's how you
rock and roll.
He said that's how you do it, rock and roll.
Because Guy Fieri was there.
Yeah, he's kind of making fun of Guy Fieri by throwing a cake in his own face.
That's funny.
And then Elizabeth Hasselbeck is like,
hilarious.
what? Because it's not even like a dangerous like thing. You know what I mean? Like most of the stuff, Fox and Friends were outside. Oh, and they're looking at Elizabeth as she has cake ricocheted.
He really fucking high-fived the shit out of her.
You know what's great about E-Rock is that he's just he's standing there after he throws the cake in his face. He just stays. He doesn't run away. He doesn't go back up to the studio. He just stands there in the live shot, looking satisfied with himself. Like, I did a good thing.
Well, because he is, and he did.
Yeah.
And then he had to come up with cake all over his face.
Well, yeah, because he knew. He was like, in that moment, I let my instincts take control. And I did good. I did right. My instincts were right on the money.
Yes, they were.
And they were.
That was really funny.
It's the funniest shit ever.
Yeah. That might be one of the funniest things he's ever done.
Yeah, the fact that he fucking high-fived her and almost broke her arm.
Yeah, it's harmless. It ruins a television show. It points out the absurdity of everything that's going on. It completely throws a monkey wrench in the TV show's plans without it actually harming them. It doesn't allow anybody to humiliate him because he's already thrown the cake in his own face. It's perfect on every level.
And he had to come up with cake on his face.
Happily,
He had to take an elevator up.
With cake on his face.
There's Morgan Stanley people and NBC people and everybody executives that work in this building.
And this ass with cake on his face.
And there's just a big boy with a Simpsons t-shirt and cake on his face in the elevator. And he's like, actually, I'm paid handsomely to work here. It's great on every level.
Look how proud he is in that picture right there.
Super proud.
Yeah, he's really happy.
Yeah,
he's
he
really
should
happy
be.
with himself. Yeah, I
He
guess
should be.
that was a good moment for Eric. So hopefully someday we could have him on this show. That'd be nice.
As a guest?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to answer this question, but this is kind of it. Kevin in Louisiana. I'm only hearing things out of one side of my fucking headphones.
Maybe it's a stroke.
I would hope so.
You might have it in Q.
What's that?
You might have your headphones in Q.
What's that mean?
We call it Eddie.
What's in Q?
Yeah, they might be an Eddie.
Q is like meaning that it's meant for monitoring purposes, so that you hear a different thing out of the one side of your headphones.
How do I fix that?
Hang on, I'll come in.
All right. Yes, Kevin in Louisiana, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm just saying, didn't you kind of fade out slowly from doing these stunts after that woman died in California from drinking too much water on that radio show?
Yeah, she died. It was Hold Your Wee for a Wee or something, or Wee for a Wee. And she did die from drinking too much water and not pissing. So that's the reason that no radio show anywhere can do any type of drinking stuff. But all it takes is one lawsuit, and everybody says no because there's a precedent for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So that might be why.
And death.
Yeah, and she
Death.
did die. That's right. Yeah, she died.
And a death. Because like all the things where you'd go, oh, it'll be fine. Nobody will get hurt. There's like, well, they might die.
Wasn't there a problem, too, with Bubba the Love Sponge and with insertion? Didn't something happen with him?
I think that insertion there was a problem in the sense that he did it, but insertion has always been off the table.
No, that's not true. I'm almost positive that when Howard first came over here, he had the Sybian. And they had insertion. I don't know.
I don't know. I
that's
don't know
a
about it.
vibrating thing. It wasn't insertion here. There was insertion back in the day.
But you
like
were never allowed to
terrestrial.
do it, I don't think. I think there was always an issue with insertion.
Yeah.
Even when we were back on XM.
But One did the wiffle bat challenge.
That's right.
That's back in the day. That's before there was any rules about anything.
And they did that on XM too. I think we did.
Maybe in the very beginning.
Yeah, and then I remember thinking like someone's going to get hurt or someone's going to get it rammed in her pussy. Like something bad's going to happen. I lobbied against the wiffle ball bat because again, someone was going to get hurt doing it, and we were going to get. And I knew there was going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong desire to do crazy stunts. I mean, they don't really. Everything's been done.
Some of them make a fun energy in the studio. That's one thing we should do. I do kind of miss that, like when there's an event planned and a few different people coming in. Like that kind of shit I do miss. That was always fun. When we'd have a bunch of listeners in. Like those days I miss.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, we could do that anytime, though.
Yeah, we should.
But I don't mind. I don't miss doing the crazy stunts just because in the moment, like, you laugh. But there's a lot of risk and very little reward.
You have to panic after that. Something's going to happen, or they're going to regret it, or there's
The gay off.
The gay off was harmless. Oh yeah, you're right. Afterwards was
not
bad.
mentally.
There was that couple here, and that was a bad situation.
Yeah. But even that wasn't like. I was fine with the gay off.
Yeah.
Except that it did a number on people's relationships.
Yeah, but people should know that when they come in, they don't have to do that stuff. And they shouldn't come in and do it if they don't want to do it. Like, don't show up and say you're going to do something like that if you can't.
But it's also with the stunts. Everything's been done now.
Most things have been, yeah. Like the 50 gallon drum challenge. I mean, I don't think we did that since NEW. That never got done on XM.
No,
it was just too messy. It was too much.
Yeah, and it
the girl had a roach in her ear and had to be taken out on a stretcher.
And it doesn't have the same effect on people listening anymore because it's not.
That's a good point. It doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't. And plus. The amount of people that want, like, shocking has diminished.
I thought a lot of the things were really funny. Like, the gay off was just funny. But I think, the idea that you can watch anything on YouTube might remove the demand for a lot of that stuff, too.
Yeah.
Because nothing you hear on the radio show that's supposed to be outrageous is going to be anything better than what you see on YouTube.
Right.
Or anything, you can watch people doing more shit than this.
I mean, look at, like, the most successful podcasts in the world are all just either smart or funny people talking.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to, like, wacky stunt podcasts because they're like, what?
Yeah.
This isn't 1996.
That
I'm
is
not
true.
downloading to hear, some girl eat roaches. Like, MTV's trying to revamp Fear Factor. And I don't think it's going to work for that reason. That people are
it didn't work when didn't Rogan redo it? And it didn't.
They tried.
Yeah,
they tried. Now they have Ludacris hosting it, and I don't think that like shock. Oh my God, she's eating a roach stuff does the trick anymore.
Yeah, it's not. That type of TV is a little bit
passe.
Yeah, and a little bit because again, you can go online and watch anything you want, and people doing more extreme shit and not being teased by commercials. Hey, look, here's a guy putting a bottle rocket in his dick hole. Okay,
right.
There it is.
Right, exactly.
No teasing from the host. No, it's coming up soon.
Oh man, look at this person. They're sitting in a glass bin full of spiders. Oh really? Check out this guy breaking a jar with his asshole.
Yeah,
like we've gone past the breaking point. You push the envelope until it can't be pushed anymore, and then you just kind of have to go all the way back.
Is this guy? We have one of the contestants from the Gay Off. Dennis?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
Hi, buddy.
I was the one who tapped out first because I realized I wasn't gay.
What made you tap? What was it that made you tap?
We had such a great time that day. It didn't mess me up. It messed up the guy that had the Asian girlfriend, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was the two guys that went ridiculously too long with that go harder guy.
Right, well, yeah, because what we did was the Gay Off concept, which, I believe was mine and Troy's brainchild.
I think so.
We were very proud of that.
It was a good one.
Was we brought in Go Harder, who we had in here not too long ago. Who's
now Chris Harder.
Yeah, Chris Harder, who was he's like the gayest entertainer of all time. And had guys come in. We had 4 guys come in, and they brought their wives. So it was proven that they weren't just gay guys trying to make some money.
They had to be married, and they had to be able to prove that they were married.
Right.
What did we have to?
The gayest thing that happened to me was Troy pulled his underwear to the side and put my nose in his ass.
That's pretty gay. I've known Troy for 10 years. I've never done that.
Gay,
I only did that
twice. I'm
twice.
not completely gay.
Yeah, it's a little gay.
Well, I had to Go Harder wasn't here, so I had to step up.
Yeah,
oh, that's right, you did.
Yes.
We had to be like, even though Troy fucks a lot of chicks, he's also the most fashionable person here, so he probably, he's probably the gayest guy. He's the closest to.
Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, we had to get Troy because Chris Harder was late. But what happened was, I think we had to make them show their marriage licenses and everything.
That might have been it, or some kind of proof they were married, or Facebook, whatever it was.
But what
You had to
happened?
bring your marriage licenses in.
Right, because we were not playing games. This was a serious competition.
We didn't want sneaky gay people coming here and gaying around and taking the money,
Taking
and being
our
ringers.
money.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys remember that they had the Clorox wipes on the studio, and everybody was wiping their face, and then Troy takes them and throws them against the wall because there was bullshit that you were cleaning your face off after you had your nose in somebody's ass.
Did you do that, Troy?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember either. But
It absolutely sounds like Troy.
He grabbed the wipes and he just threw them and said, "Stop."
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
It does sound like something Troy would do, but
Hey, but I have to say, it didn't mess me up. It was a good time.
well,
Great
that's
time
because
with
you tapped
guys.
out at the appropriate time. Like that's the problem with doing these stunts is that people don't know when enough is enough, and you got who's a smart man. You got your wife there. You're like, okay, a man's asshole on my face. Enough is enough. I tap out. How much farther could it possibly go? Until we get to the point where one of the contestants, who's got his Asian wife sitting there on the couch watching, is grabbing Go Harder by the shaft and trying to insert his soft penis into his rectum.
What was the wife doing? Did she get really upset about it?
She was no selling.
Was she crying or no?
Not in the beginning. Not when we were on the air. She was no selling while we were on the air. But as soon as the show was over, everything kind of hit her, like that this experience had just been lived. It wasn't just a made-up thing on the radio. And that's when she started crying, and I ran away.
They went around the corner.
For $1,500.
They went around the corner here of the studio, and they were in the back, and you could hear her screaming down the hall.
Why?
I was out of there.
Because her husband had just tried to grab a man's flaccid penis and shove it in his asshole.
I think the gravity of everything just
Really?
came. Yeah.
Maybe
For
I'm
her-
just jaded.
For her, yeah.
Yeah, like he had dicks rubbed all over his face. Like he's like,
Troy
okay.
said, for $1,500.
It's a lot of money.
It was the shaft and head of his penis. Like
Others have had it done for far less. Just saying in life.
He needed the money for something weird too. There was something it was really sad why he needed that.
Whatever happened to them? Did they stay married?
I don't know. We ran away. Took zero responsibility.
I think we gave him the money too. I think we gave him.
We found money.
Something, yeah.
Because he was like,
No, I thought you guys split it between those two.
Maybe we did, yeah. 'Cause it was so hard to call. I don't remember, but we felt bad. We don't want the guy to feel lousy.
the prize might have been $3,000, and we split it into $1,500 apiece because it was like. Then they started getting pissed. That like, well, I would win this if I could shove his dick in my ass.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, you can't do it. That's not the game. We're not doing that.
And I don't think he would have won. I think the other guy would have done it too.
I think so too. It would have just been a gay orgy, and that
would've just had to start dating guys.
It wasn't like
those two guys went till the show ran till after 11 o'clock that day, and
It
they
was too
both were
much.
just trying to go further and further and further. Who could jerk off him more than the other guy?
Were they grabbing his dick? I don't even remember.
Oh, yes.
I mean, there was.
Yes, he was grabbing his. They were both kneeling down in front of Go Harder.
Oh, my
plus one of the mics.
Because I was actually sitting behind Jimmy against the wall watching this go on, and they're just literally both sitting there grabbing like, guys, it's $1,500. I did it to meet the guys of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, one of the mics stopped working, and we couldn't get anything fixed because Mars was just in the corner masturbating.
Yeah.
Like, he was so thrilled. He said it was the best bit we've ever done.
Yeah, he really loved
And
it.
Dice,
loved
and
it.
Dice never came back in.
No, that's right. Dice
Was Dice in that
We
day?
wanted-
Oh, my God,
I forgot. We wanted Dice to do commentary for it. So Dice was in, and the minute Troy stripped down to his underwear, Dice went out for a cigarette and never came back.
I forgot.
I remember that now.
I can't be a part of that.
Yeah, no, he didn't
The
want to.
intern's name was not there anymore. He was all
Sal.
stand up.
Sal.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Sal. Sal got a hard time.
He was,
Well, Sal was going through a weird period at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And in that moment, we made him shave his facial hair into a handlebar mustache, wear a thong, and put bronzer all over himself.
Yeah.
we had made him get a full Brazilian wax the day before.
That's right.
It was a really weird time.
And that was when Anthony made me laugh so hard because he was complaining, and I guess she was touching it. When did Sal get his balls touched? And Anthony said she was juggling them like Captain Queeg.
Oh, the woman who waxed him?
Oh, was that the waxing?
I think so.
Oh my fucking god!
And by the way, that was the angriest I've ever seen Travis ever.
Why?
I've known him.
Because he wanted to hold his balls?
No, because
Am I misquoting you?
Travis was miking Sal, who was laying down on a
While he was
massage
getting
table
waxed.
that we brought in here
Yeah.
for the waxing. And the woman ripped Sal's pubes off with a waxing thing. And Sal was screaming in pain, and Travis was laughing at his expense.
Very unlike me.
So Sal thought it would be funny for Travis to get his comeuppance, and he smashed the pube wax hair on top of Travis's head.
Oh, yeah, that was funny. You didn't like that,
It
Travis?
was not funny. I was not happy.
Travis stopped laughing immediately, and he goes, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" Like I was like,
He was.
He's gonna fuck someone up.
It was nice to see that's inside Travis. when
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's there.
Travis, you didn't like his pubic hair being matted to your head?
You know, surprisingly, I did not.
Plus, Travis,
All right, guys, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
All right, goodbye. Thank you, buddy.
as
Bye-bye.
Travis has said, he's got a couple more thinner spots than when we first started, as you know, we all do. So
It's been pointed out. Yeah.
Someone pointed out that you have a thinner spot?
Yeah, I
but-
mean, me every day.
yeah, but the problem with that is that means that pubes touch your head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's no buffer.
There's no hair barrier.
right.
Nope.
It's just pubes on your head, on your scalp.
You didn't like him?
No, I didn't know the pubes.
Yeah.
No,
What
that
was
is
it,
not-
the tape?
not
Maybe you
for
didn't
me.
like the tape.
Yeah, you're right. I have a thing
Ew,
against wax
sticky.
tape.
Sticky, yuck.
Do you miss this E-Rock bit? I believe I do. Yes, Clifford, Indiana.
Hey, I remember E-Rock used to get so mad when you guys would have him do the virus bit, and to the point to where he broke his hand at one point.
Yeah, E-Rock didn't like that.
Hey, guys.
His voice was the best.
Was that the joke thing when you tell me like
Yeah.
one
One
punchline.
punchline.
One punchline,
And
yes.
that voice came from when he did something like he was trying to say
Tank.
cantankerous and he said Tank Hankerous.
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
became
right.
his name, Tank Hankerous.
Tank Hankerous. That was two characters.
Thank you,
though.
Clifford.
The virus and Tank were two different
I
characters.
know, but I thought the voice
it was similar.
came from the virus. I thought like the voice of the virus came from Tank Hankerous.
No, it was similar, but it was different.
It's all in the same cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that
Same,
wasn't
same,
that wasn't
but
the same voice, Tank Hankerous.
No, in fact, if you listen,
Hi guys.
if you listen to the "We Are the World" song that we did, both the virus and Tank Hankerous are featured.
I don't remember that. I haven't listened to that probably since we did it, if ever.
Tank Hankerous has his hat on backwards because he's like a sports guy.
That's right. Yeah, Tank Hankerous.
And the virus is just like, a big globule virus.
How's he doing? I haven't talked to him.
The virus?
Yeah, how's old E-Rock?
I don't know.
He's fine.
Is he good?
Yeah, I see him all the time. We share an office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I bump into him occasionally, but rarely.
He's good.
Yeah. Well, he's on in the afternoon.
Yeah, but usually sometimes you poke your head. I see Paul.
Yeah.
Say hello to him.
Yeah, Paul's here all the time. He's got nothing going on.
He's got nothing
He
happening.
really needs this place.
Yeah, he's here right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. He's just devoid of anything outside this building.
Nothing going on.
No. Well, I bet he comes in half the time, and that fucking twin comes in half the time. Half the time, it's probably not even him.
I've theorized
true.
that for a long time. They're doing the Parent Trap on us.
Yeah, they probably just swap out, and they both live on one salary.
Yeah. They probably are. They're doing a secret Parent Trap game trying to get you and Opie back together.
His brother came in here once, and I thought it was Paul, and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I came in with Paul." I was like, "I didn't even know that was you."
Yeah, that answer makes no sense to the question that I was asking.
It's usually I came in lieu of Paul.
That's not.
Instead of Paul.
It's not what I was.
That's not what we were talking about.
Yeah.
In lieu of?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
No, I know.
No, I know.
We were going with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't a very good joke.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. But yeah, this one. How valuable. Yes, Kevin in Philly.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good.
So Rich Voss doing stand-up during the walkover in Starbucks.
Is
Love
there
that.
anything better? Voss is a fucking ballsy guy. Rich Voss running in and just doing stand-up randomly in all these places.
Yeah.
He was shitting on Asian guys in there. Like, it was straight-up racial humor. It was unbelievable.
He went into Rue 57, which is like a fancy restaurant on 57th Street, and just Kenny would just walk into the middle of the
man.
restaurant. And since there's no PA system, like they were using microphones for the radio, but in terms of you just sitting in the restaurant, it just sounded like people yelling. Kenny would just walk in. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And now coming to the stage, please welcome the comic stylings of Rich Voss. And they're just sitting there in the middle of their breakfast, like having their eggs Benedict, going, what's going on?
And then Voss is just up there doing his caustic
crowd work.
Fucking miserable, mean crowd work. Really funny. You're right. That was Voss is very underrated. Voss should get a lot more credit than he gets for having been such a fucking hilarious part of all these things.
Do you want to hear one of his Starbucks?
Yes, I do.
He did at Pick-a-Bagel once.
We got to get Rich Voss to do a little comedy at Starbucks, and then we'll finally head into XM and do the second half of the Opie and Anthony program, okay?
Very
Does that
good.
guy have Club Soda Kenny, you ready to intro Rich Voss to Starbucks?
Yes, sir. It's going to be terrific. Where is the Starbucks?
Right up here. Basically, what's going to happen, Kenny's going to bust
We just
in,
fast forward so we can just get to
get
them.
everyone's attention,
I thought it
and
was
he's going to
ready.
introduce their next comic, Rich Voss, and then Rich Voss is going to do a few jokes, and we'll get out of there, hopefully
just
with
do
no
it.
one getting arrested or in trouble, okay?
Hey, if you guys want to do the Starbucks thing next week, it doesn't bother
No,
me.
no, we're doing it right now.
Oh no, Rich.
Oh, no, Rich. You're not getting
Rich
out
is
that
smoking,
easy.
by the way, like crazy.
Yeah, he's getting really...
He's getting
are you
all
getting
the
nervous?
cigarettes.
Well, I just don't know what to open with.
How long is this clip?
What are you open with? Yeah, what are you going to open with,
Wait,
Rich?
here, I don't need this
All right,
stuff.
here we go. We're right
No,
outside
you don't need the
Starbucks.
earpiece.
So, and you hand me the mic.
All right, hold on. Let's set this up professionally. So
Let's just
Kenny, listen.
fast forward or just find it on video.
All
This
right,
is
we're heading toward the
ludicrous.
Starbucks. It's the Rich Voss
'cause I hear a
Starbucks
crackle.
comedy tour.
Starting to crackle a little.
I know.
Take my mic. Boss, you got to take my mic.
All right, hold on.
All
hold
right,
on.
here's your venue.
All right, hold
We're
on.
here at your venue, Rich.
Club Soda Kenny has to make the announcement.
Make the announcement.
Hold on, Kenny,
Let's see
let
if we
people
can
get in there.
a little bit.
Some of the fans want to get in there to check out the comedy stylings of Rich Voss. All right, the listeners going in, making believe they're getting
crackling
coffee.
a little bit.
It's okay. We'll stay close to.
Oh, okay. Not the mic's great. All right,
All right,
everybody.
here goes Kenny with the intro.
All right, let's get it. I got to hear this. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, your next comic performing in Allentown this weekend. Put your hands together for the comedy stylings of Mr. Rich Voss. Let him hear it.
Rich Voss.
And they cheer.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. A big hand for Kenny for bringing me up. I'm working in Allentown. I'm from New Jersey, the Garden State, and our ex-governor planted all the flowers. We had a gay governor, which was great because he fixed up all the rest areas. I'm rolling now, huh? This is great. This is the best Starbucks I've ever done. Sir, turn around. I'm on stage. I'm sweating here. Look at these two guys. Now, what are you, a bottom or a top? Huh? What's your name, sir? Let these guys in. Come on, it's a free
harassment.
show. We got two brothers outside. You can get in free. I'm telling you. Listen, no, it's for everybody. Comedy. How you girls doing? You from Hong Kong? Where? Where are you from?
Are you from Hong
New
Kong?
York. Guess again. Okay. The guy comes home from playing golf and he punches his wife in the face. She said, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "I've been hitting everything fat today." A little golf joke. A little golf, folks. Hold on, here we got some more people coming in. Sir, how you doing with the tie? I like that haircut. Did it come with a pocketbook? Anyhow, look at that, honey, with the necklace. Is that your girlfriend? How you doing, ma'am? Can I buy you a house? I'd love to chase you through the woods with a hammer. Look how hot she is. She got a Louis Vuitton bag but walks into Coach. Anyhow, that's the back of the plane. Hey, I got a car. Oh, my God, she is fine. Anyhow, I'm back. How you doing, ma'am? You might recognize me from TV. My career seems like it's plummeting, but I'd rather do a Starbucks than NBC any day. Now, let me tell you this before I get out of here.
What?
I got a way to solve the illegal immigration. We let all the Mexicans in. They have to go into the military. Then we invade Mexico, and we don't have an exit strategy. I have one now. Thank you, and good day.
Rich Voss.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's a good joke.
Rich is so good.
The fact that he did it for like 2 minutes and didn't get kicked out.
I know.
And we have Voss. We were doing this, so we're roasting Voss tonight. It'll be fun. Sam is coming, and you're going to the after party.
I am
which is
going
right
to the
there.
after party.
It's going to be a fun night, and then Voss will come in tomorrow, and we will recap everything.
Are you going to make sure that I get in?
Yeah, I'll make sure that you're on the list. All right, thanks, Kevin. Good suggestion, man. I forgot about that.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.
How was your weekend in Los Angeles?
It was good. I had to go out because I was taping, and we tried to switch days. It was for This Is Not Happening, that Roy Wood hosts. You Tell a Story. And it was great. I mean, I'm happy I went. It was a fun trip.
You were hanging out with Talib Kweli.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I thought he was a comedian.
No, he's a rapper.
I know. I just saw the list, and because all you give a fuck about when you get to these things is when am I on. So I knew Dan Soder was on there. The early show, the 7:30 show, Dan Soder had to close. Tom Green was on, Daryl Hammond, and then Dan Soder, and there was like two guys.
Wow, it's a good show.
Before.
It's a really good show.
Yeah, but of course I was last on the late show, so I was like, fuck, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm going to bomb. I hate going last. And those things are always fine.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to always do well on those Comedy Central things because it's like a TV audience. But I still I like to get myself freaked out. So it was only 4 on my show. 2 comics who I didn't know, and Talib and me. But I saw the list. I thought he was a comedian. I didn't know. And then Jonathan said, no, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, all right. So we spoke. We bumped into each other. And apparently he said I met him with Chappelle years ago. So, and I remembered his face. I just didn't remember that we had met.
Yeah, he hangs out with, or he was at the time hanging out with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I guess that's when we met. He remembered it. I don't know. It might have just been one of the clubs. I don't know. But he was a nice guy. We talked for a while.
That's awesome. What did you guys talk about?
Just fucking old school rap. And Jonathan knew a lot about the like they had a lot in common with NYU and those old school parties that he used to go to. And Jonathan talked about mentioned this fucking book of old flyers. It's a book of old party flyers. So he talked about that a lot. Those
does
old
Jonathan
days.
not drink or do how does he have a memory?
He just remembers weird things. Like he doesn't.
It's enough to maintain a conversation with anybody.
He doesn't remember. If I tell him to remind me of this TV show idea I have, he doesn't remember it. But if it's a photographer that took pictures of Castro, he talked to me about that guy for an hour. Oh, we went to dinner. And we looked over, and fucking Roger Waters was 3 seats down from me.
Was he mad about the show we did with Ian Halperin?
No, he didn't. He didn't. I kind of looked away so he wouldn't recognize me.
Oh, good, smart.
But I couldn't even. In the restaurants, I don't bother people.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to, it's Roger Waters.
So you're not siding with Ian Halperin on that thing?
I think he's probably right, but I think I would have. I literally would have went outside and just bashed Jews with him for an hour if he wanted to, just to get a picture. I would have sold out completely. I would have, yeah, good point, Roger. And then taken a picture and then just walked away. What a fucking anti-Semitic prick.
Right, but you would have had the picture.
That's all I cared about.
Right, that makes sense.
But I didn't bother him. But he was literally 3 seats down and there was no one in between us.
Wow.
It's hard not to look at Roger Waters.
Were you watching him eat?
No, I looked for a second, but I've seen so many fucking celebrities in these places.
Oh, excuse me. Oh,
no, I mean, in L.A., you see them all the time, though. And anyone who goes to L.A., if you go out to eat, if you've done it more than 2 or 3 times, you've probably seen celebrities in places, and you're just like, ugh, I'm not going to bother a guy at dinner. Even Jim Norton 2010 wouldn't do that.
I flew to L.A. once, and Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys was on my flight. So I get it.
You talked to him?
No, he was in first class. I was not.
Yeah, I understand the temptation, though.
Is that the same group that Rich Voss is a part of?
The Backstreet Boys?
Yeah.
I don't think. Oh,
you didn't see the photo?
Oh, you mean because of his hat? Rich Voss, when
you
he came in.
You didn't see the photo over there?
Boy, that was a great Photoshop.
I did. They made a Photoshop of Voss and his dumb hat because it looked like a 90s boy band. So it's him. Plus, he wears like linen shirts during
It's his
the
entire
summer.
outfit. They didn't just Photoshop his head.
No, it was the whole outfit.
That's his outfit.
That's so great.
That was him from that day. and somebody's like, I was so happy when I realized that they put his entire outfit in there and not just him, his head. It fit perfectly.
And he really did look like a Backstreet Boy. He looked like what the Backstreet Boys would look like today if they went back on tour.
That is Voss perfectly.
Oh my God, that is great.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like the I Want It That Way era Backstreet Boys where they're all wearing white and they're wearing kind of oversized white collared shirts and they have their hair all gelled up and everything. Like it's very, very late 90s.
But even his pose, even Voss's fucking pose in this looks exactly like he's a Boy Street. If he had
a Boy Street?
a boy band. If his
That's where you want to go.
Boy Street. No, it's not. I'm not gay.
He hangs out on Boy Street.
So I'm gay, but I'm not. If his goatee was just a little lighter, he would fit in 100%.
Now he looks like Lou Pearlman. He looks like their manager who's dressing like them.
Well, he looks like the guy on the reunion tour that just won't dye his hair.
Right.
Like usually they dye their hair, but like whenever you look at like these older bands like the Stones,
right,
or even Sabbath when they were playing with Bill, Geezer, Tony, and Ozzy, their hair looked like it was 1974, and fucking Bill Ward didn't care. Charlie Watts, the drummers never give a fuck about their hair for some reason. They always leave their hair white. They don't give a shit. But it's the other guys in the band, I guess, because they're in front.
AJ is talking to Rich, and he's like, Rich, they want the Backstreet Boys from what they grew up with. They want the Backstreet Boys of yesteryear. You can't show up looking like this. You got to dye your goatee.
I can't do it. It puts a rash on my face. He'd have some stupid reason.
That's why he's wearing the hat again. Now they've all retired the hat, but he's wearing the hat again because he doesn't want to dye his hair.
They made him wear the hat.
Right, because he's got gray hair.
Yeah, they made him.
It's like Joey Fatone. Remember how he was like the obvious old guy?
Right, because he didn't keep himself in any kind of shape.
No.
He got all fat and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like a grandfather.
Yeah, because J.C. Chazé held up. Chris Kirkpatrick was never the aesthetics of the group, let's be honest.
Right.
Which ones are these guys?
That's the Backstreet Boys.
Are they different?
And
NSYNC.
NSYNC?
Yeah. What are the names of the Backstreet Boys?
That was... Nick Carter is my favorite.
Which one's Nick?
He's the one at the bottom with the blonde hair.
Okay.
Then there's AJ. He's the one in the top left.
He was the bad boy.
He's the bad boy.
He looked like a bad boy.
Well, yeah. He ended up going into rehab. Then there was who was the heartthrob's name?
Chip.
With that one? No, that's Chip. Nick. That's Nick Carter. Him.
That's Brian.
Brian.
Was he the heartthrob?
Brian,
because he looks kind of sullen. Like there's a lot going on there.
Brian was the heartthrob, and then there was the Kevin. Kevin is the older guy. Kevin's the older guy.
Who's the fifth guy? Wait.
Oh yeah, and then Howie was replaced in that photo by Rich Voss. I forgot about Howie. Howie was replaced by Rich Voss.
Do those guys still all together?
Well, they do. They tour.
But all the original five?
Yeah.
What was a big song by them?
I Want It That Way.
I've heard it, I'm sure.
Playing Games with My Heart.
Backstreet's back.
You know, in hindsight, the Backstreet Boys, I'm going to say this, holds up better than NSYNC by a mile.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can we hear one of their songs since Queer Sam just said that?
Quit Playing Games with My Heart is a good one.
I'm not playing. I just want to hear it.
Backstreet Back's all right.
Backstreet Back is good.
Just one for a second. I want to hear. I know them. I've heard a million of their dumb songs.
Yeah,
Travis
there's no
Dog.
possible way you didn't hear
Travis Dog, you know the hits.
it. Of course I did.
I Want It That Way. That's probably the biggest one.
That's it, yeah. Because I was going to be a Backstreet Boy.
Hello.
No, you're just a backdoor boy.
Whoop, no, that's not it.
Oh, you're lucky Jim talked over that because Travis pulled up the wrong fucking
It
thing.
says Backstreet's Back, but it's from the kids' channel.
Of course it is. It's your private archive.
Yeah.
Now I got to check the Backstreet.
Come on now.
Let's go. Or just type in the name of a song.
Yeah, Travis. What are you doing in there?
You are a bad DJ.
Oh, Travis.
You are a bad radio
God
DJ.
damn, this has 106 million views.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the biggest thing in the world.
You almost said ginormous. Yeah, it's fine.
Sam's right. It holds up way better than NSYNC.
Yeah. Boy bands we hate, but then usually they're okay.
Who
Like
hates them?
people in general hate boy bands. Like in hindsight, but when they're big, when you look back on, it, like yeah, right, some of their songs are fine.
Let me tell you something. I learned from my experiences because I watch. I realized, you know what? Backstreet Boys were actually... You're going to subscribe to Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, I think so.
I see your mouse over the thing.
Troy.
And so now, I'll listen to a One Direction song and be like, let me listen to it without prejudice.
Right, without going, these guys are moes, and maybe they can actually sing.
Right. I love that we're defending boy bands now.
Well, hey, look, I did...
What happened? What happened?
I did the Tonight Show once with a boy band.
Which
but
boy
they were an
band?
overseas one from Il Divino or some weird shit.
That's not... I mean, that's...
But they were like a boy band.
I mean, they were big, but that... Yeah. But you liked them?
No, I think they could sing, but I
You're
didn't.
an Il Divino guy?
No, I didn't like the music, but I think they can sing.
Hit this, Troy.
All right, hang on.
Oh.
My fire, the one.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Wanted.
Think these guys all still have money?
I don't think they all still have money, no. I think Nick Carter spent irresponsibly. I think AJ had his demons, so he probably spent irresponsibly.
Was he doing dope? Was he doing dope? Uppers, downers?
Yeah.
Benzies?
Yeah.
Huh?
I bet you they still make a lot of money touring, though.
I bet they do. Yeah, I bet they're making money now.
You know who's still huge where they tour? New
Who?
Kids on the Block.
They had a bunch of hits.
30 years ago.
Yeah. No, I know.
They do like boat tours.
But they did NKOTBSB, too. That was a big tour.
I think older people, again...
New Kids and Backstreet Boys on the same tour.
We like it. 'Cause
NKOTBSB.
It makes you feel young. It makes you feel like, oh, okay, these people, I can still... You always feel a little younger when you can still go and see people you loved when you were a kid. Like, okay, I feel like I'm in touch with that. Like, once they start dying off, then you're finished.
Yeah.
But when I saw Kiss in 96 with Jeff Ross... It was like their first reunion. I think it was 96. Me and Jeff Ross, he was Jeff Lifschultz, but then drove down to fucking Pennsylvania, drove to Philly. And I remember feeling a little older. It was a little bit, it wasn't quite the same. Like we saw them, but they were older and it had been 15 years or whatever the fuck. Wait, 89, yeah, about 16 years. I think it was that, or maybe it was 2000.
Yeah, I went to a...
It didn't feel the same.
I went to I did a wrestling show in Pittsburgh, and I ended up going to like way outside of Pittsburgh. So it was like 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. So now we're just in General, Pennsylvania. And it was some bar that had a stage, like a bar where you see live music at, and it was a 90s rock cover band. And like it was super, super cheese. But the people that showed up for it were all like women that probably didn't really go out anymore, that used to like party in high school, but had a couple kids.
And that's who they used to like go listen to, yeah.
Right, and they were losing their minds over this
Who was the band, you don't remember?
It was a cover band.
Oh, just cover.
That's just Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Pennsylvania, and the bars are packed with these shitty cover bands.
That's what they do.
Oh, yeah, it's like a big thing. Like, they're massive. These guys are like rock stars.
It's all like late 90s butt rock covers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they cover some shitty like 70s and
or they'll do one, they'll really mix it up and do a rock version of a rap song.
Yep, they love doing that.
That's the one thing in the set, and then they go back to Everclear and Chumbawamba and whatever else they're playing, right?
Yep. I love a good cover band. I'll tell you, I was walking around. Okay, this could be a sign of mental illness. And Anthony Cumia has ruined so many things for so many people. But what he ruined for me... Yes, he did. He certainly did. That damn thumb of his, that send button. He ruined fucking... I love that dumb song by Joan Baez, Diamonds and Rust, which Judas Priest covered.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good song. And it's a love letter to fucking... a love song to Bob Dylan. But he ruined it because he goes, it sounds like... He ruined the vibrato, I think it's called, the voice.
Yeah.
And I can't listen to it anymore.
You can't.
He fucking pointed that out. And now it's like, hey, look at your wife's face. There's a mole on it. You're like, oh, God, the cunt has a mole. It's all you see?
Yeah.
It's all I hear.
So to this day, you can't listen to the song?
It's a beautiful song. It really is.
But you don't like it anymore?
I still love this. But...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the live version.
It's the only one we have.
It can't be the only one we have.
In here, yeah.
You got to be fucking crazy. SiriusXM subscribers are subscribing for Diamonds and whatever.
Diamonds and
4
Rust.
copies of Judas Priest's version, but only one.
Judas Priest is a bigger version.
Yeah, so that's why.
Hand on the telephone. But it's a really beautiful song. But her singing, you play the original just for a second, and fucking Anthony, with one sentence, ruined it. He ruined it probably 5 years ago.
He's probably
4
right.
years ago, and I just have never been able to unhear that. Just jump into the middle. You don't have to hear that.
People probably should have ruined all these songs for us. There's no way we should be sitting there defending any of this.
It's not true. It's a good song.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, look, I'm going to tell you something about me.
You don't like it, Troy?
I mean, it's fine.
I am a sucker for a female singer-songwriter.
I'd be honest, my ex used to rip me because she said I had teenage girl taste in music.
Yeah.
I love a good fucking female cover.
Female singer-songwriters for me, all like... I mean, we were married by the time Jess realized that, like, I was a Michelle Branch fan. Like, I would.
I'm like that with female rock singers.
Yeah.
I've always been like
Are you going to
Like
download
Courtney
this?
Love.
Are you going to
Courtney
download
Love,
this?
Shirley Manson.
It's a good one.
I probably will Spotify it, yeah.
But I was looking for other versions of it because I love the song so much, and I even like her version. But I was trying to find one where they just don't have that little.
Yeah, we were listening to some like Sirius channel, like I don't know, it was 90s or 2000s or whatever, and like I mean, we'd probably been together for 10 years, and Michelle Branch came on, and Jess was like, "You know all the words to this song? Like, who is this?" And I was like, "What? It's Michelle Branch." She's like, "Why do you know that?" And I was like, "Jess, I got to tell you something about me and female singer-songwriters. I'm a sucker every time.
Yeah,
every time.
I like a good female. Well, there's a fucking cover of Umbrella by Marie Digby, I think her name. I don't even know if I guess she's a singer. I don't know how popular she is.
Mm-hmm. She's not.
I got it in maybe 2009.
Yeah.
I was humiliated and ridiculed by the person I was dating at the time, and I stole one of my favorite things ever.
Good for you.
It's a cover of Umbrella.
Good for you.
Don't let anyone change it, Jim.
No.
10 years ago.
No.
I love a good female cover.
You like covers?
I like covers in general.
Yeah.
I love a good cover. Pantera does great covers. They used to do great covers of Sabbath. Fucking Pantera did a Ted Nugent cover. They covered Cat Scratch Fever. It's one.
I heard that. That's on the Detroit Rock Fever soundtrack.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
I'm not a covers guy. I don't care about a cover.
I like a good cover.
Motorhead does some good covers.
Oh, fuck, man. Fuck, Lemmy covered Shout It Out Loud by Kiss. He also covered Cat Scratch Fever. Lemmy covered some great things.
I would love to hear Motorhead do Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah, Lemmy does it.
That sounds like it'd be great.
It is good. I mean, Lemmy's voice covering anything is a delight.
A home run.
Yeah, you can't not enjoy a Lemmy cover. And I know Motorhead does that too. I'm sure that Aerosmith did it first.
Aerosmith.
That is theirs from '74. Yeah, I don't know when Motorhead did it.
10 best Motorhead covers. Remember, they did Sympathy for the Devil. That was really good.
I don't remember that one. Oh, Girls' School, I remember.
Louie, I've heard.
This one, and they also did, I thought Cat Scratch Fever was pretty good.
By Pantera? Or
by both. All right. Well, I want to eat something, and we have
good shit.
We have John Taffer coming in shortly, so let's break, and then we'll have him when we come back. He's promoting John Taffer's Rescue Tour.
I can't believe, I don't know why John Taffer is still doing this shit. Like, there have been well over 100 episodes of Bar Rescue. He's making a ton of dough. Plus, it's not even like he is now, I guess, but he's a guy from the bar business. So he's got money, and he's basically, I think, becoming like a Tony Robbins type, where he's doing these 3-hour seminars about, what happens around bar rescue and stuff, and improving business and business habits of people.
Good. Remind me to plug my new stand-up venture. The lectures I'm going to be giving. Thank you. Good point. I'll do that a little later.
You're going to get... Okay.
And
I don't know, by the way, how he gets away, Taffer, without getting into fights. Like, I was watching one last night, and it's like an Indian guy, and he owns this bar because his dad just bought him a bar because his dad's rich. So he's like, here, this is a bar for you. And he just manages it like shit. He gives away liquor. He was terrible. But they go back into the back room, and they find mold on the ice freezer. And they start going like, oh, that's disgusting. That's where the ice comes through. It's going through mold. You can't serve people like this. You got to clean everything up. And Taffer, he scrapes the mold off with a napkin. And then he comes back to the bar and he goes, this is on your ice. This is what you're serving people in your drinks. And he goes, and you know what? You need to wear this. And he just wipes the mold napkin on the guy's white polo shirt. And I'm like, how is this guy not getting a swing taken at him? He just like, that's his instinct. Taffer just goes, you need to wear this. And he wipes the mold on the guy's shirt. And for the rest of the episode, like, they spend the day cleaning the bar, and then they open up the bar for a stress test, and the dude never changes his shirt. He's got his mold shirt on the whole time.
He probably knew better because he knows he's going to get all this done for free. So don't be a dick and just tolerate. Because everyone knows they're getting their shit fixed for nothing.
Yeah.
You might as well just tolerate his abuse. I mean, it's not going to come free of charge.
Yeah. I mean, he really, let him know who the alpha male in the room was. And then another one, he went to some bar where the owner kept getting drunk, and he kept beating up his brother, who was the manager. Like, he would just throw a donkey kick at him from behind or something and swing at him, and he knocked his brother on the floor. And Taffer had seen enough. So he said that he started pointing at the guy, and he's like, you're an asshole. Lay down on the floor. Now, you get on the floor. You want me to fix this bar? Lay down on the floor. And in front of all the bar patrons, the guy just... At first, he was like, I'm not going to lay down. He goes, then I'm leaving. And I don't know how a blood vessel hasn't burst by now. And the guy he just got down and he sat down on the floor.
People just sign up to be yelled at.
Yeah, it's great. It's so awesome. And then they get cool bars at the end. They get new couches.
That's why they tolerate it.
Butt funnels.
Oh, well, he's coming in a couple of minutes, and everyone's been asking about the Chip podcast. The new one is up with, I think, Bob Kelly and Anthony are on it, and it's also, Chip goes through a little bit of past life regression, and has his tarot card read, and it's a very, very...
tarot
card, whatever they are. I don't know, and he didn't either. All right, we'll be back very shortly.
Welcome back. It's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. Yeah, this is the Pantera.
I didn't realize it was in that movie. I
It
love
wasn't in
this.
the movie. It was just on the soundtrack.
Oh. All right, we got John Taffers outside the studio.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he just came down the hallway. Thank you, Mars.
And I hope everybody's on their game today. I hope everybody's on their game, because Taffer's looking around going like, what can I improve here? What can I improve here?
I ain't messing around, man.
Right. I know. It's
Hi,
not
John.
It's not just bars. It's systems.
Do you ever offer opinions in your places and people don't want your opinions? They're like, this is not, like, meaning like you're not at work, but you're doing something else?
Yes, every freaking week, man.
And they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it.
No, it happens. First of all, I have to ask you about John Taffer's Rescue Tour, which is what you're promoting. Because I looked at it, and at first I thought it was like, so it's like you're getting into the seminar business, kind of. It's like a three and a half hour thing with a lunch break, and you're training people, and you're giving people the secrets. But these are your tour dates. I thought it was like one event that you were promoting, and then I saw it's all summer from San Jose to Long Island.
You're like a musician who just went through a divorce.
It's 27 weeks, but I've been doing this a long time. So I've been doing this for 30 years, guys. So this is what I did for a living before I went on television.
Oh, you actually gave talks?
Bar seminars and speeches all over the world.
So you're comfortable in front of the audience.
That's what I do. That's how I sort of got on TV. Is I was doing one of those, and somebody came up to me and said, "You should be on TV, man." And
really?
Yeah. So the industry knows me for this, and this is what I do for a living. So I'll make them money when they come.
That's so great to be able to, when the show is not on, you can just do this. Yeah. Like, this has got to be so much less pressure. You just show up in the city, you talk, and you're finished.
Bar rescue is tough, man. But what people don't know is, and this is what's interesting, when I'm done, two things happens. I get the proverbial check, and I get a hug. Mm-hmm. These days, the hug almost means more than a check.
Because you got so many checks.
Well, yes,
no problem.
But I get these emails every month of people that say, I watched the show in Dubuque, Iowa, man, and it made a difference for me. So it's like really inspiring. And it's like amazing how this BS reality platform, because we've installed cameras 2 days before I get there. You just got used to them.
Right.
So, if I walked into your world and spoke to you that way, you'd say, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But they allow me to do this because of the fake platform. But yet on this fake platform, it becomes so freaking real.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. The reality is deeper because the platform created it.
And they also know they're getting
normally.
They also know they're getting something out of it too. They know that despite all the getting yelled at and stuff, you're going to give them something legit, which is you're going to fix a business that probably needs a lot of work.
Yeah, honestly, yes. They think that, okay, so he's going to come, he's going to scream and yell at me. I'll deal with it, and I'll get a remodel out of the deal. What they don't realize is it's fucking real to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, get in there and expose your freaking demons, because, if you have a failing business, you're the failure, man.
You can see it in their eyes when, like, John has figured something out or is saying something that they didn't think would be on TV or they didn't think that he was going to talk about. Like, they're like, oh, and that's the moment where it gets like, it stops being this TV show where they get to have new couches in their bar where it's like, oh my God, this is real life.
Yeah.
What do people, sorry, John, what do people resist the most? Like, what piece of advice or what thing do you find that is the one that for them, most people is the hardest?
Accepting that it's them. You see, they're always going to blame something else. It's the location, it's the freaking president, it's the euro, it's Greece, it's this, it's that, it's snowed all fucking winter, it rained. They used to say, it rained today, no business. Next day, they'd say it was the first nice day, no business.
Right.
Too cold, no business. Too nice, no business. Everybody's out. Every day, somebody has an excuse. So if you can blame someone else, then you have no reason to change, man. But if you wake up in the morning and say, I'm failing because of me, I'm the ass, then you're not going to like that. So I got to make you look in the mirror and, hold yourself responsible. That's between you and you.
Because it's funny, that's the hardest part is getting people to admit that they are self-destructive or they're stupid or they're ruining their own thing. And the hardest part... Or ego.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because there's always a little truth in what they're saying. Like, the weather does affect things a little. So instead of taking that's 10% of your problem, they make it fucking 90% of the problem. You know what I mean? Like,
because they don't want to be the 90%.
Because there's always a little truth in it. Even if it's not a bar, even if it's other businesses and people are just self-destructive and they blame everybody else because they suck. It's frustrating to get them to look at themselves.
It is. And, just as a quick, just popped in my mind. Years ago, we opened a place in Seattle, Washington with a huge deck, and everybody said to me, this is a long time ago, everybody said to me, John, you're fucking nuts. It rains every day here. Who builds a place with an outside deck? We put in these poles that came up from the wooden deck, and I had custom umbrellas made that slipped into the pole. So you could pick up, walk around with the umbrella, put it down. It was really successful. We had these outdoor rain happy hours. hours, and we turned it into something.
That's cool.
So my point is, you can make money in a rain if you're smart.
Right.
If you say, "Oh, I'm not going to make money in a rain," then you'll never even have that thought in the first place.
Right.
So it's up to you. You know.
How quickly do you know who the problem is? Right. Because I mean, there's
Seconds.
always. And
Seconds, I know who the problem is here right away.
He's pointing at Sam, and that's
not
a very
true.
astute observation.
You're off, John. You're way off on this
No,
one.
teasing you. You know, you can always find that spot. It's like a chain, and you find the weak link. So if everything is screwed up, it's the leader.
Right.
If
So if you're looking in the entire staff is like they're not doing their job, they're all bitter, they're all annoyed. It's like, well, that's the top. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
nothing's
not,
right.
Right, because the whole
Coming from
staff hates you. It's got to be you.
Or there's no systems, no procedures, nothing, you know.
Right.
So everything is screwed up.
Right.
Or you walk in and you say, wow, you know, the place is clean. It is this, it is that. It does have some redeeming elements. So maybe it's a manager, not the owner. Maybe it's, you know, certain employees.
Right.
A certain, like, I've looked at bars where the day shift is really together. The night shift is a freaking nightmare. So, I mean, there's things that can be isolated or general, too.
How long did it take you, or is it just natural that you got comfortable enough walking into a place that you could act like you own it? Because that's what you do. You walk into these bars, and the second you walk in, you're in full control of it, whether they're offering you control or not. Like I watched one yesterday. I was telling them about where I couldn't believe he didn't get hit. Because you go and you're like you've already pointed out all the flaws, and it was the guy whose dad gave him the bar, is the Indian guy who was like a rich kid, and you go back and you scrape the mold off the ice freezer, and everybody's freaking out, and already
disgusting.
Already they're treating him like a fucking asshole because he would allow himself to have a bar with mold in the ice freezer, and you, just because it occurs to you, goes, you know what? You should wear this. And you just tape the napkin and you wipe it down his white shirt. And I'm like, where does he get the balls to just think like that's what I'm going to do right now?
Well, that all happens in a moment.
Yeah.
You know, and you said an interesting thing, and I never really thought about this week. So how do you walk in and feel like an owner?
Right.
Well, I've owned these places since I'm 24. Mm-hmm. So I certainly know how to walk through it and feel like an owner and, you know, feel like it's mine and have the most authority in a room. So in bar and nightclub environments, I've had the most authority in a room most of my adult life, honestly.
Right. So that's natural.
That comes easy for me. I don't even think twice about it. I got a lot of balls. I'm pretty fearless. And there was an episode, I think in season 2, where I cleared an entire bar of food. And my sleeve was covered in sour cream. I don't know if you remember. I said, nobody eats this food in my arm. So what I did is
I get so fired up.
I sent somebody in to, it was the golf theme bar. I forget the name of it. I sent somebody in and I had them order everything on the menu. So the entire bar for about 12 feet are all these plates of appetizers, burgers, entrees, and the kitchen was the most disgusting I've ever seen. And this food is sitting out in the bar, and people are waiting to eat it for free. So I go out in the bar, my arm, and I, shh. After that scene, I could do fucking anything.
Because you know, even if they get mad, it's still good. You're filming it, so it's still great for TV.
But I didn't know I was going to do that until I did it. You know, I never know what I'm going to do until I do it. That's what's neat about the show is I have complete freedom.
Do they just have to follow you? Because I watched the show, and I don't remember how long I was watching the show for, but at some point it just occurred to me, like, most of these reality shows are pretty simple to put together and throw together, and you could do them in a couple hours and you're good. But, like, this bar rescue show has so many different establishing shots and shots of this person making something, and now we're going here, and it's going to take 2 days to do this. Like, there is so much time going into each episode just to get everything that the story requires that it's mind-blowing to me.
And we do it in 4 days. I mean, we do actually.
Seems exhausting.
And we do remodel it in 36 hours. And I'll tell you how we do it in a second. But you're right. And the extraction of the story. We don't know what it is. And we have a very close common friend, Kevin Undergaro.
Yes.
Who is a dear friend to both of us.
Absolutely.
And he texted me this morning to tell you that you're a brother too. So in any event, he was shocked when he would come on a show and do recon himself. But what happens is I know nothing when I show up. I literally get about a 2.5-minute briefing. You know, it's owned by Jim. Jim's in a hole, $400,000. His wife is ready to leave him. He has 2 kids. His house is on the line. He's this, he's that, he's that. You know, they hand me a piece of paper, which I designed the format of, which gives me market demographics, median age, income, you know, makeup, all that kind of stuff. So I glance at the demographics. I hear the basic elements. They put me in a chair. I get dressed. I get right in the SUV.
Wow.
I then watch what's going on. And very many times the producers will think, story is, John takes Drunk Lounge, turns it into, you know, MVP Sports Bar. You know, that's what they hope is going to happen. I show up on set and say, guys, I'm not putting a fucking sports bar here. You're nuts. So in the beginning, everything they thought I would do, I didn't do. Now they don't think anymore. It's really complete freedom.
So they let you do whatever your instincts tell you.
Yeah. So one of the greatest SUV stories of all was I'm sitting in the SUV and I'm getting ready to go, and one of my producers tells me, John, we want the owner's wife to do recon with you tonight. Great. Owner's wife sits down in my SUV. Her name was Edith. And she had a gift bag with her. And I didn't know anything. You know, I went, what's the gift bag for? She goes, oh, it's my 14th anniversary with my husband. I said, great. That's really nice. Tonight? She goes, yeah. And he's inside. I said, great. What'd you get him? She says, divorce papers.
Wow.
And that's what she's got in the bag. Then we sit down and we're watching a monitor in the SUV, and bar rescue's real, man. And a young girl walks up to her husband, who's apparently cheating on her.
I remember the episode.
And says to him, are you married? And he says, there's no ring on this finger. And we're watching this with his wife. So she's besides herself. You saw this, right?
Yes,
she runs into the bar, throws a drink in his face, rips his shirt open, and the two of them go at it. 4 days later, they tore up the divorce papers, and about 3 months after that, nobody knows this, about 3 months after that, I got an email from them. They were having a baby.
Wow.
That's how real bar rescue is.
But here's
so it kind of fixed them in some weird way. They were like, they were at the cliff, and they were like, fuck it, let's just stick around.
You know, you get them to a place where I expose everything. It's ugly. But from there's only one way to go.
Right.
If it's real, tell me the mindset. How can somebody be so stupid to tell a woman no ring on this finger, even though, like, they know that the place has been wired with hidden cameras because they know that the show's going to happen at some point. How can a person be that stupid to basically cheat on his wife in his bar with the hidden cameras running?
Excellent question.
That's
an evolution.
Yes.
Not a decision. So he wasn't coming home at night. He was getting home drunk late at night. She was allowing it to happen.
Right.
So
I see.
Over a period of time, he developed this comfort level
of this is just what I do.
That he actually did it with my cameras in the building. I mean, that's how comfortable he was doing it. And obviously, the guy didn't do it on purpose because the cameras are there and fuck up his marriage.
Right.
So that's the last
He's just
thing he
not
would have done.
thinking. You get so comfortable, sometimes you think you can't get caught. Everyone always gets caught once they're like, I can't get caught. Then you get caught.
Of course. And the cameras are there, you said 2 days before you show up?
Yes, so they get comfortable. The built-in robo cameras that are built into the place are there 2 days before I get there.
And you're recording everything.
Yeah. Also, we always mess with them. They think I'm coming the next day. I show up a day early. They think I'm at another bar downtown to them. They don't know which of the two. Then they get a phone call saying he's at the other bar.
And then you show up anyway.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one. I'll actually install extra lighting. So let's say 8 o'clock at night, the crew will walk in, say, he went to another bar, guys. He's not coming, and they'll pull down a couple of light fixtures. Suddenly now they're themselves. Fuck it, he's not coming. Let's go have some shots.
Oh, my
And suddenly the reality kicks in.
Wait, you're not coming to that bar ever, or just that night?
They think I'm not coming. I'm going to another one. We're starting to pull down lights. So I have to create reality.
Yeah.
But I got cameras and lights on the wall. How do I do that? So it's a challenge. So they don't know for sure that I'm walking in that night. Never. That's why when they walk in, they'll say, oh, shit, he's here.
Right.
Oh, shit, you'll see that reaction.
That's so smart. And you got them to sign something. Is there something on the door that tells patrons that are coming in, you're being filmed? Okay, cool. So everything's covered. So you can just say, hey, look, we're not coming. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah. And
or I can come 3 hours late. They'll get so frustrated, they'll just start being themselves.
They will, right?
Right. Because he's not showing up. He'd be here on time, you know.
Yeah. So sometimes I got to wait for the reality to take its course. You know?
And you do get used to cameras. It's really weird. You say things into a mic or with cameras there. Like after a few minutes, it's just we're so used to it now, especially. Yeah. Whereas 30 years ago, maybe not. But now everyone's got a camera. You don't even care anymore.
Even a microphone. Think of all the guys you've had on your show. that sometimes say something that they really regret saying in the moment.
Sure.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
that you guys never have, of course.
Yeah, we do for 3 hours every day. We're like, I wish that didn't happen.
Okay, so I want to talk about one of your topics for a minute. So you guys were talking about how you can't get into bars, correct? And VIP lists. Were you not having a conversation?
I was saying that. Yeah.
So what is the dilemma? So you walk in, you're not recognized.
So I'm worried, right? So our friend, our colleague Rich Voss is having an event tonight, and I always, whenever I get invited to an event, I always get worried that I'm not going to be on the list. Nobody's going to know who I am, and I'm just sitting there at the door like a schlub. You know what I mean? Looking like
a putz.
Looking like a putz.
He's basically afraid, and what we're all afraid of is that you get up there and it's a confirmation of what you already know.
Right.
Wow, I'm not on the list. I really am a non-entity.
And nobody knows who the hell I am.
No one knows who I am. I'm a flop.
And even when they do, they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do know you, but no, you can't come in. Right.
Or they're tweeting, you see Sam waiting to get in, and they're not letting him in. That's hilarious.
So it's all designation.
What do
right?
you mean?
You have to be marked on the list a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So there's being on the list, and then there's being on the VIP list, being on the top of the list, being in certain areas, being in certain table areas, etc.
Right.
So it isn't just being on the list; it's how you're on the list that matters.
Yeah.
So next time you come to Vegas, I'll give you a lesson. I'll straighten you out on this. Okay?
Yeah? You'll get me to the top of these lists?
I will get you on the right list in the right place, and I'll teach you how this is done. I promise.
I'm never on lists either. Every time. There's nothing worse than when they go through it, and they're like, Norton? I'm not. When you see that they go back to the first page again, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not on the list. It's the worst feeling.
Yeah, I did that. I did that last time I had a WWE show. I pulled up to the parking lot just because they changed their parking lot thing. And usually it's like the guy there knows who I am, so it's okay. But this time it was a different guy. And
so you're fucked.
And he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, no. And he pulls out a list, and I was like, oh, no. I had to go just park in the regular parking lot.
You were on the list?
No, and walk across the street, and everybody's like, oh, Sam, like, aren't you supposed to be? Yeah, hi, guys. I'm going in that way.
Every once in a while, you meet an actor who wears a hat with his own name and logo on it. You know what I mean? You'll meet a guy like that who just makes certain that you know. So he's got the Jim Norton shirt, the Jim Norton hat. You know what I'm saying? You can't not know. And then not only will it say Jim Norton, it'll say Sirius Radio, blah, blah, blah. I mean, so he establishes the credibility. I used to have a friend years ago who never had a girl. Now he's probably 75 years old. He never had a girlfriend for more than 3 weeks in his life, this guy. And he had a Ferrari and he had a limo. And he would send a limo driver to pick up his dates and bring them back to him so that the limo driver could set everything up. So the limo driver was taught what to say and the money that he had and how he is and the demand he has and blah, blah, blah. So the pump was primed by the time he got into the car. So that's what some of these guys do with the hat and the shirts. They got to sort of, but how do you walk around with your own name on your chest? You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. So either you're a putz for not being known, or you're a putz for having your name on your shirt. Either way, we wind up being a putz in that situation.
Or you're a genius who sends a limo driver. This guy I want to discuss. What a smart move that is. He was probably younger girls, hot younger women, right?
And he was older, typically, yes.
And the limo driver knew to pump up so the girls get in and they feel like that's so fucking smart.
So I'm taking you, do you know much about him? I'm taking you to see him, and let me tell you a little about him, and blah, 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 blah. And
would they know that they were being primed by technically the guy they were going to see, or did he do it in a way where they had no idea that this was...
No idea. Suddenly he was running a little late, so they were picked up first.
Oh, so just a driver.
Now you got to understand, when you start something with a relationship with such total bullshit, that's why it lasts for only 3 weeks.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in a way, it was successful.
I'd be embarrassed to
It's
ask
like a radio show. You don't get season 2, you know?
Yeah. That's it. You get up there and you get in there once, but sometimes you're like, you know what? I didn't belong here to begin with.
Right.
I'll just be happy.
This was supposed to be temporary.
It was supposed
only
to be
built to be temporary.
Most guys never get this far. Fuck it. We had sex a couple of times. I'll just,
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. So is he still living?
He's still living.
Is he still dating younger women, or is he married now?
I'm sure he's still trying. No,
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he knows the tricks. He better be.
How long you lived in Vegas?
In Vegas close to 4 years now.
Oh, you just went out a
From
couple years
LA.
ago. Okay, why'd you go to Vegas?
A couple of reasons. Well, actually, I lived in Florida. I moved from L.A. to Florida. I'm actually incorrect. And I didn't expect Bar Rescue to be such a hit. Tell you the truth, I thought I'd make a pilot and go home. I never expected this.
Right.
I just finished my 147th episode. Been on the air now almost 6 years. We air 750 hours a year with these Sunday marathons. It's the most aired show, second most aired show on my network other than Cops.
Wow.
So the evergreen nature and the marathons, I never expected any of this stuff, Jim,
And you never know what year it is. It could be 2009, it could be 2000. It doesn't matter. Like you said, it's just.
But people watch these marathons for 12 hours and they watch episodes again and again.
I used to do a nighttime radio show, so I wouldn't get home until 2:00 in the morning. So I woke up at noon, so I would stay up at night. So like on Sunday night, I would have that weird thing where, my wife had a regular job, so she'd go to bed at like 11 o'clock, and I'd be up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and that was my thing. Every Sunday, I would sit there because the Bar Rescues would just never stop.
Yeah.
It would just be another one and another one and another one. And it got to the point where as much as that show is on the air, now, if it's nighttime and I turn on Spike and Bar Rescue isn't on, I get pissed.
I get emails from people.
Why is the Bar Rescue on?
When they skip a Sunday every once in a while for a holiday or something, people are pissed. Where is it? Where is it? It's like they're used to having it there.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. You could have never predicted it.
So you moved to Florida having no idea that this would go through the roof.
No, because my company was based in Florida and such, which is a big hospitality state.
Sure.
And we do consulting work. We develop hotels and restaurants and bars. We do serious work.
Okay.
We have Fortune 500 clients, big corporations as well as small ones, and we have a multi-million-dollar consulting practice.
And then what made you
we're
go to
a serious
Vegas?
company. So,
Do you gamble?
Now the TV show became a success. I'm flying back and forth from Florida to L.A. The trip's killing me, Jim. It's a day back and forth.
Sure.
So I'm losing 3-4 days a month going back and forth. So then during first season of the TV show, I tried to fit the TV show into my other life.
Yep.
First season was 10 episodes. Second season was 10 episodes. Third season was 40 episodes. Fourth season was 50 episodes. Fifth season was 43 episodes. And I just signed for 20 more.
Wow.
So now the show didn't fit in my life. I had to fit my life into the show. So I had a choice of moving to L.A. or moving to Nevada. And I chose Nevada. Taxes, as you said, is one thing, but it's also a great place.
Do you gamble though? The casinos to me would be so scary.
But no, I'm not a big gambler.
But that's not what got you there.
No, not at all. I have other businesses there too.
Yeah, Vegas scares me.
It's a great place to live.
I
though.
love Vegas, but I'd be afraid to be there all the time. I'm so weak. Like I know
Too many temptations.
Dude, I don't even gamble much.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I know I would if I was there every day. Like I'd be bored one day and go, let me just try it, and I'd win, and I'd be like fucking. And a week later, I'm blowing guys on the side of the road.
Every once in a while, you'll see a husband and a wife, and they get in the elevator, and the husband looks at the wife and says, "Give me the fucking money I told you not to give me."
Really? Yeah.
Or she'll say something to him. He'll say to her, "You lost $500." She goes, "You lost $5,000." Then he says, "But I know how to gamble."
Right.
You hear the most ridiculous things between husband and wives when they're walking through.
Blaming each other for losing the money. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a real tough one. So you're not on the strip though. You're
No, I'm in suburban. Nights.
okay.
When you
No blinking lights nearby.
when the show took off and you become this television character, does that make the consulting business off TV more difficult? Like, is it more difficult to be taken seriously as a real consultant, a real businessman who's got legitimate experience, not just the guy who yells at people on TV?
That's a great question, sir. Yeah. And the credibility that I had of 30 years doing this before TV has helped.
Yeah.
But when people meet me now who are in the industry that don't know, because now if you Google me, all you see is TV.
Right.
You got to go back 500 pages to find the real industry stuff on me. So, yes, they expect me to be a raving maniac. They don't expect me to be as professional as I am.
And were you surprised at some of the backlash that you get here and there? I feel like that happens to anybody who gets like television successful. That like you've done stuff where I was reading one thing where it was like from a year ago, 2 years ago, but like an interview that you had done just about bars, not about TV. And people in the industry are just picking apart every little thing to try to make it seem like this guy who's got a TV show doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to mention. There was one TV show I did where I was told to make an old-fashioned. So I go on the show, and they tell me what to set up. So I set it up on this, I tell the producers what I need. So we have a little counter on the side, and it has the ingredients for an old-fashioned. And the show started with me on the couch, And then we got up for the second segment to go to the bar to make the old fashioned. As I'm sitting on a couch, the host says to me, I get a terrible problem, John. My husband says I make a terrible Rob Roy. Can you show me? So, I don't want to correct her on our show, so I said, sure, figuring it was a mistake. So we get up, go to the table, I start making the old fashioned. And I handed the old fashioned. She goes, doesn't a Rob Roy have sweet vermouth? It does.
Sure.
But there was no sweet vermouth on the table. I thought I was making an old fashioned.
Right.
So I'm not going to on live TV start arguing with her. So I thought so I didn't know what the hell to say. So
Because that's even worse, by the way. If you're the guest and you start blaming, the producers didn't put out. It's going to make.
That's not a possibility.
You
Sam.
can't do it.
So I looked at her and sort of stumbled for a second and said, "Well, you can make it that way." Well. The bartending community went freaking nuts. Taffa doesn't know what's in an old fashioned or what's in a Manhattan or a Rob Roy or whatever.
Instead of realizing that you just stumbled at the awkwardness of a live moment, not wanting to correct the host.
Right, and destroy the show.
Yeah, that's an awkward moment.
I'm not a bartender. I'm a manager. I'm a bar owner. You know, bartenders, you can own a restaurant and not be a chef. Right. I don't know every recipe how to attend, and nor do I profess that. You don't know everything about the boards and the engineering.
I know nothing about the boards.
That's what I'm saying.
Believe me, they're happy to point that out.
Not good.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, I'm a management guy.
But did that kind of shock you when, because you hadn't been necessarily in the public eye to that extent, when you now have to deal with just everybody having an opinion about you, positive or negative? But I think it starts to, I know for me, and I think probably for Jim too, when you start to realize people are allowed to just have negative opinions about you, and they can snowball it, and it becomes a thing. When that first starts to happen, is that kind of like, whoa?
First time or two it happened, it was yes.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It was offensive.
Yeah.
You're really thinking, geez, why would people do that? Don't they understand? And you say to yourself, I'm a good guy. Why would they? But in 24 hours, this stuff blows over now. It's gone.
It's gone.
And the fact is, none of it has ever rooted, because, you got to look at the body of your work.
Right.
And if 95% of it is, then these things tend to disappear. Now they don't bother me at all, Sam, tell you the truth. You know what's fun? I laugh at them. There's some people who say I have a turtleneck, that my neck looks like I'm a fucking turtle. The people that talk about my bug eyes are going to pop out. There's people who do. So, I laugh at it now. I think it's sort of funny.
Yeah, who cares if you're a perfectly handsome guy? You're a unique looking guy, and that's all that matters. You don't have to be model handsome. I'm just telling you the speech I have in the mirror every morning.
Exactly. Is it working?
No, so I want to hang myself.
So you're right, Sam. It did bother me.
Right.
But you do get thicker skin, and it does sort of.
I wanted to ask you about the Troubadour too. That's on Santa Monica Boulevard, right?
It is.
And I passed that a lot. And they always have these amazing performers there. And you were there for how many years?
I was there for about 2 years, 2.5 years.
And what did you do there? You were just the bartender.
I started as a doorman, left as manager.
And did you see some cool people come through there?
Oh, incredibly cool people. In 78, 79, 80 were the kind of years that I was there. Those were the Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, Adamant, Fear kind of days. At the same time that whole punk scene was going on, a new wave with the clean cut suits, and it was an interesting time in rock and roll.
Yeah.
Heavy metal was starting its roots, and not only was there the Troubadour, there were places like Madame Wong's back then, and Hong Kong, and Whiskey, and Starwood, and it was a great time back then.
How much harder is it to work in a music place when you're, as far as a bar, than a regular, just a traditional bar?
You got to love music. The Troubadour was 3 bands a night, 7 nights a week, sometimes more. That can fucking get to you, Jim. Your head's pounding sometimes. Sometimes you just got to walk outside, and get 5 minutes of non-thump.
How difficult
silence.
are bands to deal with?
Excuse me?
Are bands difficult to deal with? I've heard mixed. Really, sometimes people love working with them, and some people can't stand them.
I can tell stories of when I ran a Troubadour. Some household names, and I never say names. Some household names. We'd come down from San Francisco, big rock stars today with no money, and I'd let them sleep in a Troubadour the night before because they had no money.
Really?
And they were gigging the next day.
And
there were a lot of those stories.
And they would hang out and play.
They would sometimes sleep in there the night before. I'd have to feed them, et cetera, and play the next day. Now some of them are very famous.
But were you friendly with them, or you didn't like them?
No. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't let them stay.
In hindsight, I'm guessing Metallica. Just to use it, San Francisco. My guess is Metallica.
I came up as I took drum lessons when I was a kid. So when I moved to L.A. to work at the Troubadour, I was a musician myself.
Drummer, right?
I was a musician myself. So I related to them. You know, and I understood how hard it was. So my entire life I've respected that. So I got along really well with them. DJs too.
How do you realize, like, because I'm assuming at some point in your life you thought drumming is my passion, drumming is what I'm going to do. How do you later in life realize that this thing that I thought was my dream, my passion, is not what I'm going to do with my life? I'm going to do this other thing that I am potentially even more passionate about.
You know, it's interesting. When I played the drums, I took lessons for years, jazz lessons. And I never, ever said to myself when I was a kid that I wanted to be a rock star. That was never. I wanted to play the drums.
You just were playing drums,
right? And I really loved reading the music and playing it and played it all the time. It was really a passion to me. You know, you can play baseball as a kid, but never expect to be a professional baseball player.
Right. You just love doing
it. You
it.
played in college too. So what happened was through music, I got exposed to the nightclubs. Once exposed to the nightclubs, I really loved the operations part and stuff. So
really
one migrated to the other is what happened, Sam. But it wasn't that I consciously left one for the other. It's that I really liked what I was doing today, so I did it again tomorrow, did it again the next day, and there you go.
Plus, drumming is a motherfucker, man. Drummers are always the first ones to go because it's just so hard on your body. Yeah. Did you see Beware of Mr. Baker?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You know, I love him, but he is one feisty dude.
He's psychotic.
Yes, we can say it. He was one motherfucker in that film.
Yeah. I mean, shitting on John Bonham like he wasn't that great. Jesus, dude. Jesus.
Well, he feels he's the best in the world, but you got to tell you, when they did their Royal Albert Hall and Madison Square Garden gig, and he was 68 years old up there drumming a few years ago, he gained some respect.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's not the kind of guy you want to travel in a small tour bus.
Yeah, he seems
with.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Can you imagine spending a month with him in a tour bus?
I've worked with people who are difficult before, but even they're never on that level of psychotic because he seemed like he would hit people.
Well, now it makes sense why Cream didn't stay together.
Yeah. When you're that good and nobody wants to work with you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And then you look at a guy like Clapton who worked with him who's a decent guy.
I love the fact that he just showed up and no one had the heart to tell him we don't want you in the band anymore. He was such a psychopath. Nobody wanted to tell him you're out of the band, so he just played.
The key didn't fit in the rehearsal studio door anymore, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess it must be. I want to ask you about an invention of yours that I've talked about on the radio a lot. Because I talked about it, especially when I was doing my night show. I used to talk about Bar Rescue all the time because I watched it so much. But you are the inventor of the butt funnel. Is that right?
I am.
I'm a fan of the butt funnel. You've talked about it on many an episode. It is a contraption, Jim, in a bar where you just kind of put two, they could be half walls or cylinders or whatever it is, but it's meant so that two people have to cross through this smaller area, and they go either butt to butt or front to front, but it is designed, it is architecturally designed to increase social interactivity.
So you're heading to the dance floor. You got to go through the butt funnel, this narrow entryway. Now, if you want to avoid it, you can go around and avoid it. But let's say there's a hot girl approaching the floor. So you time yourself to the butt funnel. So the two of you go through the butt funnel at the same time. Now, you might go through face to face. That's a score.
That's a score, yeah.
I mean, your faces are inches. You got to look in each other's eyes. You got to say hello. It forces
Plus,
the
you can
contact.
try for some pelvis action.
Sure.
So
Stick
the fun,
it forward.
So you're a sick fuck, huh?
Well, I'm just saying it's something you could do.
Yeah.
So now you're really excited because you're getting close and she's still facing you.
Right.
So you're convinced you're going with you face to face. Last minute, she spins. And you're facing her ass as you go through.
So it's basically forced. The fetish is called frottage, where people rub against you. Yeah, I had that in high school where I would graze asses. That's basically an excuse to graze like in high school. It's phenomenal.
I would love to see you.
But it creates that contact.
Yeah.
Does people interact more? Or does it just make for an awkward, like, excuse me, or do people
no, it
actually
does
talk
because
more?
they smile.
They do.
You know, they laugh. Remember, the music is playing. It's a festive environment. It's not a supermarket where it would frustrate you.
Right. Okay.
Nobody has handbags. Nobody has this. You know.
But I have no rap in those moments, though. I have zero ability.
Everybody's watching out for the Jim Norton creep who just hangs out next to the butt funnel all night waiting for a hot girl to go in so he
exactly.
can
I
jump
take
in
a
with
Cialis in the parking lot and then walk to the butt funnel all day.
Then the one time he jumps, he thinks his timing is right. He trips and falls.
Of course he does. He just gets walked on as somebody else goes through the butt funnel by themselves.
That's the worst scene for me is those bars and nightclubs and like where there's my self-esteem nosedives, no ability to communicate in those. There's an art to being in those places and succeeding.
You know, I don't drink much. And the reason why I don't is because when I was coming up in this business for years, Jim, I watched people make complete asses of themselves.
Yeah.
Heard every pickup line, every turn down line. So guys at our worst. Night after night after night. So, it taught me to keep my shit together. I didn't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, because then you can actually use your brain to try to communicate on a level. Plus, if you're drunk, you may stumble when you're trying to get into the butt funnel, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
When you get into it, you don't realize there's a guy before her coming in. You're like, oh, fuck. Oh, for Pete's sake.
The guy's just looking at you like, why'd you jump in the butt funnel?
Exactly.
Dude?
Why are you still facing me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
So
I don't know.
You want a great quick Troubadour story?
Sure. Yeah.
So, late 70s, the owner of the Troubadour decides he's going to give the nightclub to Native Americans this night as a fundraiser. And this was before Indian gaming, when the Native American community was really struggling economically. So in the Troubadour that night were Indian comics, Indian drummers, Indian dancers, Indian artists, it was a great place. Even the guy who played Chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest were there. Famous Hollywood Indians are there, blah, blah, blah. And it's a real, serious fundraiser for them. This was the day that the Washington Redskins lost a football game in the last couple of minutes against the Cowboys, I believe it was, in the playoffs. Either would have put them in the next round or in the Super Bowl, I forget what it was. I had a $20 bet with a friend of mine who was an entertainment lawyer. I was standing at the end of the Troubadour bar drinking ginger ale. Guy walks through the front door. The game had just ended and screams at the top of his lungs, "Those fucking Redskins." In a room of 400 Native Americans. So he walked through the front door to Troubadour expecting the normal rock and roll crowd, saw me, scream from 20 feet away, "Those fucking Redskins." I looked up. I didn't even notice it at the time, to tell you the truth. He screamed it a second time, "Those fucking Redskins." And they broke his collarbone. It was one of the worst. Yeah, it was one of the worst misunderstandings I ever remember.
They thought he was just mad that they were in the bar.
They thought he was being an asshole. He was actually one of most non-asshole,
but they kicked the shit out of
non-prejudicial
him.
guis in the world. Well, because he said it twice, and he screamed it, and he said it in anger.
Yeah.
Those fuck me.
So funny. In hindsight, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they must have all felt so silly when it was over.
Yeah. The game. Oh, all right. Sorry. They just leave.
There was a closet by the front bar, and the bathrooms are all the way in the back. So during a show, if you're a bartender, you got to take a leak. There's a line back there. So you can't leave the bar and not come back for a half hour. So they would have these big glass Tropicana orange juice bottles. And they'd keep them in a closet by the bar, so you'd pee in a bottle and leave it on the shelf. And one day I walked into the closet. It had a spring on the door. It slammed, and the freaking thing fell off the shelf at the floor. And
piss all over the floor?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you're doing these, do you see bugs and like rodent conditions? You do, right?
Very often. We've seen rats. We've had actually rats walk into our feet. I mean, you actually feel it hit your shoe.
I saw one where there's a raccoon in the ceiling.
Yes.
There's a raccoon in the bar.
Yeah.
Raccoons are almost like they can come in from the roof. They can jump off a tree. Like
in
a
the
raccoon.
drop ceiling with shitting in the holes in the drop ceiling and the shit sitting on the freaking bar.
That's bad.
Raccoon shit on the bar.
Okay, yeah, I didn't take it that many steps. I just thought it'd be cute to have the little guy scampering around, not realizing he'd be shitting and pissing.
My wife did recon for me. Remember Headhunters? Headhunters episode in Austin, Texas. My wife does recon. This was a class 5 infestation.
Oh, yeah.
So as my wife is sitting next to me, there are bugs walking across her toes in her open show. She freaked, told me to go fuck myself, and walked out of the bar.
Class 5 is the worst infestation.
I had to shut it down, and we had videos of it. We showed it in the episode. That was really disgusting.
Did they fix it?
Yeah, we fixed it.
How did you fix it? You just debug the whole thing and then plug up where they're coming in?
I got to shut production down for a day and deal with these matters. I've had a floor collapse. We had to shut down production and deal with Murphy's Law, that episode. I've had to shut down for fumigating. I can't do it if it's unsafe. You wouldn't either. That's really irresponsible to fix it, put your name on it, and make it still a health trap.
Well, it's also that the liquor, there's so much sugar and stuff on the bottle. That's going to attract a lot of insects if you don't keep all that stuff.
Bugs in the bottles we see. One of my great stories, this was a dual nightclub. There's something called a hydrometer. A hydrometer tests the alcohol level in a liquor bottle. So there's a particular Call brand gin, I won't mention the name, that's 86 proof. So I take that bottle, I put it down, I put the hydrometer in it. It's only 80 proof. So either somebody's pouring water in that bottle Or they're taking cheap gin, bar gin, which is 80 proof, and they're pouring it in a premium gin bottle, which is so I've seen that, all sorts of rip-offs.
Do you test a lot of the bottles?
Sure.
Is that what they have, the hydrometers? Will inspectors ever go in and test them to make sure that you're serving?
You bet they will. You bet they will.
So you can't water it down without fear of repercussion that you could get in trouble legally for that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was an incident not too long ago, year and a half ago, with a restaurant chain, I won't say which one, in New Jersey. The franchisee was busted putting bad liquor in and even putting tea and stuff in the liquor bottles. And it was a national chain franchisee who did it.
What's the purpose of doing that if the money's going to you?
Stupid.
They find bugs in the ice bins. So, where they scoop up the ice, like there's bugs at the bottom of it. They find bugs, like you said, in the liquor bottles. So, like, you just hold it up to the light and you can see the dead bugs at the bottom of the bottle that they're pouring from. The one that I was talking about where he wiped the mold on the guy's shirt, there was dead mice right behind the wall.
Okay. What wasn't living or bacterial that I found behind a bar? Trivia question for you, Sam. It wasn't alive. It wasn't dirt or filth, but it was incredibly disgusting.
Rich Voss.
Good guess.
I don't remember.
Used condom.
Oh, I do remember that one. Yeah.
Used condom sitting under the sink behind the bar.
In the bar, like not like in the driveway.
Behind the bar.
Right. Yeah, behind the bar in the thing, like somebody used and just thrown it.
I hate that because it's disgusting, and the idea that he had to use one. I hate the fact that he didn't have more moral courage.
I think he used it twice. They might have shared it, maybe.
Yeah. What's your? Do you have a favorite episode?
I think my favorite episode was the Big Mike's episode that aired recently with the Baton Rouge floods.
Oh, yeah.
That one. Also, the one I'm here in New York from Rockaway Beach Bungalow Bar. Meant a lot to me, which was after Superstorm Sandy.
So you like the ones, I remember that one. You like the ones that are like, there's a good story behind it and they really deserve some help. I like the ones where you end up leaving and don't even help them.
Well, that's great TV.
I like those.
And those are great episodes, but those are really miserable when I walk away, it's because the guy was such an asshole. Imagine how unpleasant those 4 days were for me.
What will happen when you walk in and you're not going to fix the place? Will it be like this guy is just not going to listen, or he's an asshole who doesn't know it's him? Or
I won't do it. Because I think in one case, and you're probably talking about the O-Face.
Yeah.
In one case, the owner was slapped an employee, was physical with his employee. So once I learned that, I said, I'm not going to perpetuate this. So I didn't. He raised a stink. I literally walked out, said, F you, I'm not going to do your bar. Left him hanging. They caused a big stink and stuck to my guns. And about a year and a half later, he was arrested for sexual harassment of an employee.
Wow. So you were right not to deal with him. Yeah. Do you ever get worried? I mean, you're not a small guy, but do you ever get worried that you're going to have, you have somebody at least looking out for you, like a guy that travels with you?
I have a security guy.
You do? Okay.
But only in the past year. Before that, I never did.
You didn't?
No.
Wow. But you were never afraid it was going to get physical?
No. That was a big concern of our friend Kevin Undergaro. That I never had security. He always used to harass the hell out of me. I'm a pretty big guy, and I'm about verbal confidence, and typically you don't mess with a guy who is displaying a real lot of confidence.
And plus, you're there, and they know why you're there. It's not like you're fucking ambushing them. Yeah. They know you're there.
Yeah. But you could still have a situation where, like a battered wife scenario, where you go to arrest the husband, and the wife is going to defend the husband, even though he's hitting her. Like you go and you start shitting on the owner of this bar who's treating his staff poorly. You make whatever comments you want to make. He hits you. If you're going to swing back, all of a sudden his staff that you're there to help, they're going to jump on you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy not to have security.
Yeah, I do now.
So are there two possibles? If you say you go to Louisiana and you go to New Orleans, are there two possible bars you're going to do and two are wired for camera, or are you only doing one?
If I'm going there, typically we'll do 3 in the city, Jim, because the economics work.
Okay.
Because we travel with a crew of about 57, 5 big trucks, a big production.
Yeah.
So once we travel to a city, it takes 3 to make the economics work. Sometimes 4.
Okay.
But we'll never do less than 3 in us city.
So how long will you stay in the city for?
Sometimes a bar can drop out a week before production. For example, we have to do background checks, all that kind of stuff. So sometimes we find out they didn't pay their taxes, they committed fraud, they got arrested, there's a criminal background issue. So sometimes they close. I've written checks to keep the lights on while we're there. I mean, that's how much trouble these people are in.
Wow.
So they're like, we're closing today if you don't help us.
Yes, the lights shut down after we arrive. You know, we're
Man.
going to shoot and the lights are turned off.
Have you interacted at all with Chef Gordon Ramsay? Because
Never.
you have not met him.
Never. We've, sent niceties back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
On social media and through some common friends. We share some crew members together.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think I know I have a lot of respect for Gordon. I'm guessing he does me.
Yeah.
We're very different. He's a chef. I'm an owner, businessman. We come at it very differently.
Yeah, I find so.
We're alike, but we're very different, actually.
We have to wrap. Travis is saying, I guess you have an out, but we're promoting John Taffer. I love when you come in. This is only your second time, I think. The one time was just a pop-in.
Yep, good to see you, Jim.
RescueTour.com. We're at John Taffer, Jon Taffer on Twitter. But John's Rescue Tour, it's hitting so many places starting July 10th in San Jose, Long Beach, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Philly, Norfolk, Virginia. There's too many places to name. There's like 20 on here, and it ends up in Long Island. He's going to be here in New York City. He's going to be in Buffalo, Boston. Go to RescueTour.com if you're interested in this. These will sell out, so at least go on there and get tickets early so you don't feel like an asshole like you missed out.
Yeah, you should come back when you're back in town in August.
We'll do.
Yeah, come back. That'd be great.
Look forward to it.
And thank you. And we have Lisa Lampanelli coming up shortly. And thanks, John, very much.
Good to see you guys.
Has said that he is not doing town halls about sexual assault. I say, the fuck is David Cosby? I understand that legally it's kind of hard to testify. You're on trial for rape and you don't testify, but now you want to go out and talk in town halls? Go fuck yourself.
He's like, I ain't taking a stand unless I'm getting paid. I'll take the stand if I can take a check.
He just doesn't want to get cross-examined. I wonder if they're going to put him on trial. Are they going to retry that case or no?
They've said they're retrying it. They haven't announced a date or whatever, but they said right after it was declared a mistrial that they're going to retry it. And Cosby is doing a speaking tour. It's just in the beginning when the news first broke, the heavy rumor, the story was that Bill Cosby was going to go around the country and give classes on how to not have, for young men, on how to not have sexual assault charges brought up on them.
Yeah.
Like how to...
There was so many funny
It wasn't
things.
even a rumor. It was his people said it.
And then they were like, no.
And then other people of his completely contradicted it.
It was about the restoration of legacy. And whoever pointed out that Camille Cosby in those glasses looks like the great adventure dancing old man, home run. That's exactly what she looks like. I wish that was mine, but I can't take credit for it. I thought of Troy yesterday. I didn't see the entire video. I couldn't get through it. The anonymous video, that's 12 minutes long.
I didn't see it.
You know what I mean, Troy?
Yeah, I'm going to put it.
It's about...
the NASA video?
The NASA video. The only reason I took it seriously was because anonymous... Again, you don't never know if it's really them putting something out, but is it really them putting something out?
What, NASA?
Anonymous.
That's on one of their official YouTube channels.
I tend to believe those guys because they get in there and they uncover rape cover-ups and
they've threatened the show.
That's right. That's right.
True. They wanted at one point. Oh, is Lisa here? Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about this later. I'm kind of curious.
What a tease. Maybe talk about it with Lisa. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have time. I don't know.
Holy shit. Hi,
Hello,
Lisa.
Lisa Lampanelli. You too.
You look really good.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to see you. They did the Jim and Sam show, and I was like,
yeah.
Because sometimes they give you really shit assignments.
They do, right?
Yeah. I mean, really?
Is there? I mean, there's not that much radio in general in New York that's worth doing. Like Elvis has a giant audience.
Yeah, that's the only one I do, I think.
Right?
Just Sirius and Elvis, and I don't think I've done a radio. I used to do Hot 97 and that, but that was when I was into the black guys.
Did that help you draw?
No.
Did you have to draw the black guys?
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my life, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, now that I'm skinny, they don't want me on anymore because I don't fuck the blacks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Jim knows. He knows that they like the big ass, so they have something to hide behind when the cops start shooting.
That's right.
I understand.
That's right.
How do you how has been the political correctness? Because I know you for so long.
Yeah.
And in the last 4 years, it's gotten astronomically worse. How has it affected you?
Not in the least, and can I tell you why? I'm not a big tweeter and a big Facebooker and all that. I'm 56 years old. I don't need to do that. It makes my life miserable. So I do it if I have to. But so that way I don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
However, on stage, it's my audience coming. So they expect it. They expect the N-word and the C-word and all that stuff. I don't sprinkle the N-word in as much because that was my one Twitter problem. I Instagrammed a picture. This was so embarrassing. I Instagrammed a picture of me and Lena Dunham saying me and my NIGGA.
Right. And you thought this with the A.
I thought, oh, Lisa's cool enough to pull that off. Well, it was within the last 3 years, and everybody went nuts. White people too. So I said, this Wendy Williams came after me. It hurt my feelings. I wasn't mad. I just was like, oh, I made a mistake. I'm a colossal fuck up.
Yeah.
So what I did was I didn't apologize, but I went on Wendy and said, if it hurt an individual's feelings, I'm sorry I said the joke, but I don't apologize to groups.
Right. You can't apologize to a group.
Dude, the other day, and honestly, I felt no remorse about this. An old man, like literally probably 75 years old, when I started doing some jokes about autism kids, because I fucking can't stand them. Like I really like Down syndrome kids. Like I'm totally down with the nouns, but let me tell you something. I'm sick of these freaking what do you call autisms?
Autistics, yeah.
So they spoil my game night because they're focused on listening. I'm trying to play apples to apples with you little fucks.
Right.
I got to freaking worry about you going off on a tangent, and then we got to, for politeness, stick with it. Anyway.
Right. No, I get that.
So I did a bunch of autism jokes that I think are terrific. Well, this guy literally had been laughing the whole show, 75 years old, and then shut down. Like you could just tell when somebody shuts down.
Sure.
He didn't yell. He wasn't. He was gentlemanly. He just sat there, and I said to him,
kind of
sir,
autistically.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like he had empathy, and I said, sir, I can't help but notice. I remember his name. I can't remember, but I had used his name a lot for the old people jokes. I said, "Are you okay?" You kind of shut down, and he's like, "Yeah, because those kind of hurt me because I adopted two autistic kids, and first of all, I wanted to say that's your fucking problem, but I honestly went in my heart because I've kind of discovered my heart in the past few years. I said honestly, if it hurt your feelings, I apologize. I want to meet you backstage. Because I was like, I really want to talk to this guy. So, Jim, I'm sure you're like this. You have no problem with an individual, gentlemanly or womanly, saying to you, look, it hurt me and here's why. But to a group, they can suck it. I honestly feel that way. I'm not being all brave because I'm on
I
the
know
radio.
what you mean. You're right.
You understand me.
Yeah, because because it could just be one person in the group speaking for the group, but an individual is speaking for themselves.
Yes.
But I've thought about you a lot in the last couple of years. Like, I wonder how this is because you're established enough where people know who you are. They know what you do.
Right.
So is Kathy Griffin, though.
Yeah, but Kathy, a violent image of a president, that was different for any comic.
Well, also,
gotten shit.
Jim, do you also feel this way? Because every interview now I'm asked about the Kathy Griffin thing. So, of course, and honestly, the only thing I really feel is if there was a punchline attached, it would have been okay to some people.
Yeah.
Like, because, funny is funny. That's kind of our job. It just didn't have anything that I could grab onto.
Right.
Like, I'm politically correct as fuck. But if I saw that, I was still like, whoa, what's going on here? But if there was a funny thing, I might be like, oh, I understand what she's trying to say.
You just said I'm politically correct as fuck. You don't mean that.
Incorrect.
Okay,
I apologize. I'm wowed by how hot you look today. I gotta admit, I always had a little crush on Norton, and I'm going to tell you why.
What?
He resembled Don Rickles to me. And I always had a big thing for Don Rickles, but not sexually. Like, I kind of admired him so much, and he was such a great guy. And so Norton kind of reminded me a little, and it was never anything really sexual crush, but I was like, oh, if Norton was normal and he was a human being like Rickles, that would be an appropriate mate for me. But God damn it, he's creepy and weird.
Yeah,
so I can't go there. I have some self-esteem left.
Right.
But you're very cute, so
Thank
I'm
you.
wowed and I'm misspeaking.
Right.
Sam, on the other hand, nothing to look at. But that's okay, neither am I. I'm 56. What am I going to do? I'm skinny now.
You made me laugh so hard. I forget what roast we were. It might have been the Gene Simmons, but you were saying how ugly the Deus was when Jim Norton
want me to do the joke?
Yes.
Because I tweeted out I was going to do my favorite joke and your favorite joke from the Gene Simmons. I go, Jim Norton, you ugly bastard. You know the Deus is ugly when they invite Jim Norton to be eye candy. And you know what?
That's a funny line.
But guess what's good about you, though? You said, can I use this joke in my book as my favorite roast joke from that thing? And I was so honored, because we always want other comics who we admire to like us.
Sure.
And whenever I'm asked about my heroes, they always ask me about these fucking women. I can't stand it.
You don't like lady comics?
You know what? None of them ever make me laugh from my gut. You know what I mean? New ones, yes. But these old established cunts, I don't care about.
You don't like them?
They always go, who do you like? And I don't care if they never heard of these people. I always go David Tell, Jim Norton, this one, that one. Because those are the guys that I always sit in the back of the cellar in the old days and would laugh my sea off. Right. I just thought it was hilarious when you guys would go up there. Oh, until David Tell one time, I never told this, he yelled at me for laughing at him. And I was like, this fucking low self-esteem loser. I'm laughing my ass off, and he goes, oh, Lampanelli, it's not about you. What do I do? Like, you just don't even know what you did wrong. And he goes, if you want to see Lisa, she'll be outside the cellar whipping a slave with a Don Rickles album, which was fantastic. You don't get no better than that. But yeah, as far as political correctness, thank God my audience knows they're coming to see that, and they go, okay, I embrace it.
You don't get worried that somebody's going to bring a phone out, take a video or something
because
out of context.
Dude, worse is out there, what I've said on all my specials.
Right.
I remember, I hesitate to say this word, but I'm doing a quote from myself. 2 specials ago, I think, I said something like, oh, you guys want to hear my new cut off my new album? It's dropping Thursday on Black History Month. It's called Cunt, Cunt, Nigger, Nigger, Cunt, Cunt, Nigger, Nigger. Like, it's not even a joke.
No. Yes.
But I was like, if you want to see those horrible words, just go online. You're going to see them.
But that's funny, and you're obviously just being ridiculously over the top. I mean,
Thank you.
Who doesn't get that?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I learned from Rickles, too, which is if you say something, make it so obviously stupid that no one could believe you mean it. Like when he said, without Mexicans, there would be no filth. Because that joke, to me, that joke is so like cut and dried. Nobody could believe that.
Right.
I mean, seriously, it's the blacks with the filth. So no, because he knew. I learned from him how to really do a joke like that.
What motivated you? Because you went through such a transformation.
I was going to ask the exact same question.
What was the moment of clarity where you're like, the weight has to come off?
Oh my God.
Because you obviously had struggled before.
32 years from the time I'm 18 to 50, up and down, up and down. And it happened because, and I talk about this in my play, we talk about the fact that I went to college. I was skinny throughout my life. At 18, I go to college, miserable. I wasn't ready to go away. And I wasn't date raped. I didn't have any huge trauma. I didn't have to go on Law and Order, a special rape show with Mariska Hargitay every day on USA all day.
Sure.
Sometimes even on Ion TV. Well, but it was horrifyingly, I was out of place. I didn't fit in. So the eating became my friend.
Yeah.
So I decided at age 50, after 32 years of going up and down, I said, enough. And you can look in a mirror and you can say, okay, I've tried every diet and exercise plan. It doesn't work. This is the only way to do it. And thank God I've kept it off for 5 years, which, I didn't want to gain it back because in the business, that's known as pulling a Carney Wilson or a Ralphie May.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I love you, Ralphie, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
Jonah Hill.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't even have his stomach cut out.
No.
Mine, they cut it out. 75% of your stomach just goes.
Really?
Yeah. So you eat really small portions the rest of your life, and you have to deal with your problems instead of using a substance.
What would always happen? Like, you start losing weight, I'm sure.
Right.
And then usually it's when you have 1 or 2 bad days. Then you're like, fuck it. Like, what would set you off?
Mine was, a shrink said to me once, she goes, I think you think the weight, first of all, is helping you disappear from men. It's helping you, protect yourself from guys and from attention. And then I become a fucking stand-up, so I clearly want some kind of attention. She goes, well, the weight sure isn't helping, so why don't you just get rid of it? I'm like, yeah, but it's so hard. Like, even me and Jimmy Big Balls, when we were married, we went to Weight Watchers one last time. And we lost 7 pounds. And I think it scared us that this is going to be a change. This is going to be a huge thing in the rest of our life. So we just said, fuck it, and we went to a diner.
Really?
So, yeah, I would always just screw it up. And I go, I need something that, like with an alcoholic, like, wouldn't it be the best if there was an operation you could have as an alcoholic that limited you to 1 drink a day?
Right.
That's what this surgery is.
It's a weird thing, and it just reminded me of something. When I was a kid, I did human growth hormone because I was so small. And, the struggle that I had mentally, I remember I was like 12 or 13 or whatever, and I had been the short kid for so long, for my entire life, that I was like, if I do this and I'm not the short kid anymore, I don't know
what's your identity.
I don't know who Sam is because I'm the short. I've owned it. I've identified it. It's this thing. Everybody knows it, and it's like I want to be average height. But
it's unknown territory.
But this is not who I am,
right?
And it was this. It's that thing of you are the fat comedian,
right?
So it's how am I not going to? If I'm not the fat comedian anymore, then
what am I going to be? I'll retire.
Right.
See, I think I got to a certain age because I got to 50. I think 52. I did it right after Celebrity Apprentice. I was like, well, I'm ready to retire if I can't be funny anymore as a normal sized person. And then I get the freaking surgery. I get obviously horrifyingly beautiful from the neck down. I mean, I'm freaking terrific. But then you're still got what you got from the neck up. I'm never going to win a beauty contest and I'm 56. So I go, oh, I can still make fun of other things, and I'm still emotionally codependent. I still work on my stuff. So the audience still knows that there's things that they can, that you really don't like about yourself that you can't change.
Yeah.
Why did you stop doing the Comedy Central roasts? Did they not ask you anymore? Because you were so good on those.
Well, here's what happened. Bob Saget one, I had said I couldn't do it, and I told them why. I just gotten out of this 28-day food rehab. I told you I tried everything. I went to rehab for this shit, and I just wasn't in the mood to do the roast. It was literally a week after, and I'm like, I can't. I was just in something really intense. So they asked me then to do the Joan Rivers one, and I had gone through a similar program the next year, and I go, I can't do it because it's not worth it unless I'm roast master. They said no because Kathy Griffin did it. I said, okay then. So I do the Trump one. They asked me to do the freaking Charlie Sheen, and this is what happens when you start to get emotionally open. I go, no, I can't. It would seem like I'm making fun of someone who has mental problems, so I just can't. I can't morally do it.
Make fun of Charlie Sheen?
Yeah. So Amy Schumer says to me now, like a couple years ago, she said, thank God you turned that down because I did it. And then after that, they didn't ask me to do any more. And I go, hey, it's not meant to be anymore.
Have you lobbied to get back on them or asked?
Well, I didn't want to get on the James Franco one. There was another one I didn't. Oh, Bieber, I don't think I asked them. But there was one, maybe it was Bieber, that my agent said, you know what, Lisa will come back if you want. And it didn't happen. And I think that was the universe's way of telling me, you've done it already. Yeah. Jim Norton, let's be honest with you. You never seen a fucking roaster like me.
They were great.
Jeff Ross, I love him, but he could suck my cock. I'm way better. And if you're listening, Jeff, which you are, you dirty Jew, you know I love you. But no, you know that I nail it. And I think it's when you go, I've done it all in that area. What's there left?
You talk about someone's toupee, and you said I've seen better rugs in the back of a rape van. Yeah. Holy fuck, was that that was a fucking sledgehammer line.
Oh, well, you know what? I had a staff of writers, and I would come up with the jokes, and then we'd try to punch them up.
Sure.
And one of my guys, this was the best. He goes to me, Lisa, I'm sorry. After that Pam Anderson roast, every one of them has to be a haymaker. He goes, you cannot have even one that's a B or an A minus. And I would work my ass off for like a month on this thing. That's a lot of work on a roast.
Yeah.
And now the Friars, of course, always ask me to do theirs, and they're not televised. So part of me is like, I fucking love you guys, but I mean, unless it's going to be somebody huge, why am I going to do this?
Right.
I like press. I like a lot of hits. I don't like to have this where I do all the work for nothing.
Yeah.
Then I'll do charity. It's not a charity.
It seems too like Comedy Central, though it's not where it used to be. It was the Friars Club roast on Comedy Central, and now it's more like it feels like it's cast, meaning they get a celebrity who's going to bring some celebrity friends. Mm-hmm. There's usually one female comic that is there to be the breakout female comic for Comedy Central,
right?
And then there's there's Jeff Ross is there, so we can still say,
well, and he's also
he's
one of the producers now too.
Right.
But I always thought it was bizarre that they didn't have Norton and DePaulo more.
They've only used me once, and that was at Bob Saget's request on his roast. I did that.
They
roast.
have to request it almost now. These big shots.
Yeah, so they never gave me a lot on those. I don't know why, but I was like, I kind of accepted it too. Like it just wasn't.
You have to. That's what I always go. Is whatever's meant to be, meant to be. You should have seen me today, right before I came in here. I didn't know it was you guys because I don't know. I thought it was still Opie. I'm freaking retarded. I don't read the paper. So I'm in the car. I'm like, Jim and Sam, who the fucking? I got to do this one. I got to do that loser and this one. Well, then I come and I find out it's you, so I'm in the worst mood, and then I get in a better mood. So I go, it's the universe's way of taking care of me. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to go, let it go. And by the way, when I wrote my non-best-selling book, Chocolate Please, that was a huge disappointment because I wasn't a bestseller. I was so sad.
When did you write it?
Years ago, like about almost 10 years ago now. And that started the big shift of like, if whoever needs to read this will read it. Like,
find it.
Yeah. Whoever needs to come see a show will. And that's how I have to feel about everything because we will honestly kill ourselves.
Yeah, and we forget that like our problems as performers, I didn't get enough people there. Or it's like most people are like, would you shut the fuck up?
I know.
Like you're flying business class to LA. Shut your mouth.
You're doing it.
But you know what I think it is? It's the pressure we put on ourselves. It is rich people problems and white people problems for sure. Like it's never going to be like, oh my God, I'm just grateful to have limbs.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, you know what? If I didn't have limbs, I'd probably be more fucking famous because I'd be a crippled comic in a wheelchair looking like a head and a torso. Who wouldn't come see that shit? So now I'm mad about that.
Right.
But the fact is, we put it all on ourselves. And it feels heavy. You will feel sad. It feels like, oh my God, my suppose my numbers aren't what they used to be. And I remember my huge heyday before I even had any change of weight or life or anything was when I sold out Radio City and Carnegie Hall within 3 months of each other. And I think that was the top. And I go, will I have a resurgence where I could do that again? I don't know. But in the meantime, you got to let go of expectations and just have a good time and say, whoever's going to find me will.
Do you know, it's corny to say peaks and valleys, but I remember working with Dice. I worked with Dan. And Dice took me, it was after the arenas. And we were doing like 4,000 people. I mean, they were maniacs.
Sure.
He had an amazing career, but he was obsessed with getting back into the Garden and the arenas. And I would always say to him, Andrew, you don't seem to understand like where you're at. Like, okay, it's not the Garden, but you're fucking doing 3,000 people a night, and they're fucking psychotic, and they right. And now he's got the show on Showtime, so he even went back up high.
Yeah.
But people forget sometimes like where you are is still better than most of the people you started with. Just be grateful for where you are.
Well, you know what they say about gratitude? Resentment can't coexist with gratitude. So if you're sitting there going, oh my God, I'm so lucky that I flew business class, or I'm so lucky that I had a car pick me up instead of having to get an Uber. One of those smelly fucks who I'm going to rate badly from this morning. So you just go to yourself, oh my God, how can I resent where I am if I'm grateful for where I am? So those are two principles that can't exist in the same place.
Did you get super sensitive, like you're saying, like around that Charlie Sheen time? Did you get sensitive yourself?
Oh my God. Ever since that food rehab with the SAG, when I turned down the SAG roast, I started just chipping away at my real problems and why I was eating and why I was dating inappropriate men and why I got married to Jimmy Big Balls. And even though he was a great guy and we're still, thank God, good friends and had an amicable divorce, I was like, oh, I'm finding out what I really want and what really drives me and what I don't like about my life. So I think, all that stuff opens you up.
Right.
And then I went and I freaking made the mistake or / blessing of getting a rescue dog. And those fuckers really open you up. Because I have this joke now, Jim, where I swear to God, I could be on the phone screaming at my fucking Jew agent. And I'll be like, you cocksucker, send me to Oregon. How dare you, 2 hours from the airport. The dog walks in. I'm like, oh, never mind. You're such a boy. You're such a boy. And then you start doing it to your friends. So I think what happens is your heart opens up more.
Yeah.
And you become a better person. But on stage, you could still get all the crap out. That's what I like about my life now.
Did you ever wish you had kids?
No. Can I tell you what I mourned a few years ago? That I didn't have grandkids. Because I never wanted kids, but now when I see my friends having grandkids, I'm like so jealous. Well, I know this sounds super gay, but one of my spiritual leaders said to me, why don't you just pretend your nieces and nephews are your grandkids and treat them like you would a grandmother? I'm like, fucking A.
Right.
I'll pay for the wedding. Like, I love that. And it's really shifted. Again, gratitude for what I got. I got these 8 nieces and nephews. Why not be great with them?
The anger is such a good tool as a comedian, too, because it fuels so much of what we do.
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's harder to maintain it no one wants to have a fucking heart attack when they're 55 years old.
Right.
It's harder to maintain the anger. So it's like, am I going to be funny without being as angry as I was? But it's not honest to be as angry as I was because life is good.
Right. Well, that's the thing, too. But don't you always find a little something to be angry about?
Yeah.
What's great is, thank God, something happens to me that day. Because I'm sure you're like me, where you'll go up in your first 5 minutes or something in your act is going to be about what happened that day because you're like, I can't even fucking believe my life is this hard.
Yeah.
So even though it's pretty freaking easy. So I think we'll always have some anger. It'll be about sillier stuff. And I think the audience likes that too because it's just stupid. Like today, for some fucking reason. Okay, seriously, I'm so pissed about this because it hurts me. Last night, my freaking Amazon Fire Stick was not working.
What?
I finally get the fucking thing to work. Then I switch to my TV. My cable isn't working. My source don't. So we either got one or the other. This isn't right. I'm Lisa Lampanelli. I should have 2.
Right.
But then I go, oh, maybe use the TV in the other room. Like, you're such a douchebag, the stuff you get mad at. And it's like, thank God I have one of those 2 at one time. How could I not catch up on Orange is the New Black?
Right.
I just started watching that, by the way.
Oh
How
my God,
fucking
me
good is that
too.
show? I'm in season 1, episode 3.
Dude, I'm on season 2. We're far behind. Can I tell you, it is the best show ever.
It's unbelievable.
It gets really dark.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah. And how
Season 4
hot is the woman, the transsexual?
Laverne Cox. I met her in the lobby
Sexy.
on the way out one day. We had interviewed Laura Prepon. Who's the one? Taryn?
No. Taryn Manning.
Not Taryn
we
Manning.
didn't have to-
Sorry.
Taylor Schilling?
Taylor Schilling, sorry.
Oh, she's cool as hell.
And on the way
Cute,
out,
too.
I see Laverne Cox, and so I said hello, and I want to take a photo.
Yeah.
And she's lovely in person. She
really
recognized me
is.
from the Mia Isabella interview. She's like, oh, I know you.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed her. I think I've interviewed her twice, but the last time she was up here, we just passed by each other in the hall, and she was just like, oh, hello there.
Oh, nice.
I know. I was excited.
That's so funny because you can't be getting that a lot.
Why do you say that?
Well, no, come on, look at us. No, we're not Jim Norton hot. We're Lisa
That's
Lampanelli
really
and this other
depressing.
guy's hot. No. You know what? Do you get hit on a lot? Well, you're married.
Do I get hit on? Never. I've never been hit. No, I don't get hit on.
Me neither. People go to me because I've been celibate for 4.5 years.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah. I've only been divorced 2.5, which might say something about why I'm...
Wait, did you not want to have sex with him?
I just didn't want to have sex in general because I went through menopause. And I don't think I'm still going through it, but the sexual urges haven't come back.
Have you looked at women at all or no?
No. And guess what? I don't even jerk off. I have no feeling from the waist down. And I love
It's been
it.
4 years?
4.5.
Jesus.
And I'll tell you why that's great. That would cloud up my head. Like someone who told me lust is the enemy. Because honestly, you could concentrate on what you're doing. You can concentrate on your life. You don't have to chase meaningless relationships and have sex with meaningless guys. So I think what's going to happen, this is what I think, how I'm getting taken care of. I think what's going to happen, it's going to reawaken at some point when I meet an appropriate guy. Because these codependent relationships I had is no good. Based on looks and lust. It should be based on, who your equals are, spiritual equals.
It's really crazy, yeah, but I focus on like what the genitals are going to look like.
Right,
like
that.
All these crazy things. Then I start to look at the person. Like it's just, it's very hard to go the appropriate, like you meet the person, you like them, and then you...
Right. It is hard to shift it. And now that I have no feelings about it, well, what's funny too is people go, come on, that can't be true. And inside I'm going, I'm kind of like Sam, like where are the offers coming from? We get no offers, right?
No offers, no.
None.
I would never get divorced because I don't have options.
No,
you know
I
what
don't
I mean? I'm
well, I
Dunsky.
was brave enough to get a divorce, but I still don't have options. I think I put up a wall, too. I'm very nice in real life. Jim Norton knows this. I'm a sweetheart of a gal. I'll walk around my town. I'll be very nice to people. But I think there's an imaginary wall up of like, she's not having it.
That's my favorite part about being married is that like when you're married, since you're not going to pursue anybody, I have this confidence of literally any girl that talks to me in the back of my head. I'm like, oh yeah, she was flirting. She's kicking it a little bit. Yeah, I got a shot there. And you never have to figure out whether you do or don't. There's never going to be any proof. So you can just trick yourself into thinking you have a shot with everybody.
Yeah, but that's true. But I'll have a guy at Home Depot, for instance, help me put my plants in the car. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'll be scared that he likes me and I'll just be like, thanks, man. Like I turn into the biggest dykesaurus in the world. I was just like, yeah, dude, thanks, dude. So I think my next play I write, I'm going to do about women and relationships because I'm fucked up. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'd be so mad, though, if I was married to somebody who 2 years into the marriage decided, like, no, I'm going to be celibate now. I'm not
well, I didn't decide it. What I decided was, well, with menopause, you kind of don't have a choice, but you could take hormone replacement stuff. I was like, I'm really not into sex that much. First of all, Jim, I don't do it very good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm pretty terrible, I think.
Why do you think you were lousy when you did
I
it?
think I fake it. I think not orgasm. I think I fake enjoying it. I think I'm one of those people who's born sort of asexual, used sex to be in a relationship because I was serial monogamous from 13 to about 45.
Not a cheater.
No. And I think I kind of used it to get the guy to date me, and then I sort of go through the motions, and now I don't really know if I'm very good at it.
Did you ever have anybody, of course I have to ask this because all the things you say, did you ever have anybody fumble with you when you were young? Like anybody?
No. And I think that's a problem. I didn't feel like I was wanted as a child.
Because other children were getting molested.
No, but what was funny is in that food rehab, they asked all the girls, who had inappropriate sexual contact as a child. Everyone raised their hand except me, and I was like, oh, great. I was the fat one. Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even I make a joke about this on stage, but this is true. I had the only date rapist on campus who took no for an answer. I honestly, Jim, he was a varsity basketball player. I'll never forget it. Hot white guy. And I went out with a date with him, and people had said, he's a date rapist. And I go, I don't care. I'm lonely. You never know. So we go out, and he starts being inappropriate. He goes, it was very haunting now that I think about it. He goes, you're lucky that tonight I'm not in the mood to force myself. He goes, but usually I don't take no for an answer. And I'm like, come back, Mr. Cosby. No, but that really happened. I was like,
that's
wow.
Disturbing on multiple levels.
Right?
In the sense that what could have happened, and then in the sense, why didn't it happen?
Yeah, I'm kind of like hurt.
Yeah.
But thank God it really didn't,
And why did you go out with him to begin with? That's the big question.
Thank you.
There's a lot wrong with the whole scenario.
Yeah, why do you think I don't date? I got to figure myself out, dude.
You would have asked for it But it didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. I think right now it's enough working on myself. Like, that's what I say. Is if I work on myself enough to attract somebody who's amazing, then that's the way it's going to go. And it's not going to have to do with lust or looks or money. It'll just have to look like, oh, this is somebody I'm supposed to be with.
Have you had any dates?
No, I don't bother with it.
You don't?
No. Again, who's asking? I have a wall up. I honestly do.
What kind of spiritual leader do you have? Or
I
leaders?
have I go to this place called Kripalu. It's a meditation retreat place and yoga retreat place up in the Berkshires. And honestly, it's so great. It's super spiritual, but you can get into it as much or as little as you want. Like they say, meditate. Phenomenal with this meditation. I can't do it. I don't know. I do 10 minutes a day if I'm lucky from an app. I'm not that kind of chick. And I tried yoga. I can't do no yoga. I fall over. I don't want to look like a fucking asshole in front of these chicks. I'm famous. How dare you? So I have people who I just talk to about these issues,
Like a
one-on-one. I used to have a therapist. Now it's more spiritually based, but he combines everything.
I see.
Do you pray to God, or is it not that kind of spirituality?
No, not really. Not for me. I mean, it's more like I just kind of think things through, go internally and go feel your feelings. The big thing, Jim, as you know, with addiction, and mine was food and men, is to just feel your feelings. They're not going to kill you. Like that whole thing of, just test not using cake once. And then honestly, then you have the history to prove you don't need the cake. It's still going to be a struggle the next time, but you have history to prove that you don't need it.
What was your relationship like with, because you did Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
So what was your relationship like with Trump when you did that? And like how many years ago was it?
It was like 5 years ago or maybe more. Oh my God, probably 7.
Is it weird to think you've interacted with the president?
But yeah, but who the hell would have ever thought? I mean, I thought when he said he was going to run for president, it was when like a child says they want a pony for Christmas. Like, it's not going to happen, you douchebag. But Trump was always good to me. And this legitimately happened. Okay. Ever since he got, was running, got president. Here's what happened. I get calls from reporters going, was he sexually inappropriate to anyone? Did you see anything? Dude, no. But this was so funny and insulting at the time to me.
By the way, when that Billy Bush tape came out, you must have had flashbacks to college again. Being like, what do you mean he grabs pussies? He didn't grab mine. I didn't even make an attempt.
My cock and balls got in the way. But with this Trump, this thing actually happened. He would go around. I think this helped lead to the surgery eventually because I go, wow, I'm really invisible. Because I had the weight on. He would go around the room before the cameras went on. He'd like compliment a different woman at every taping. So he'd go, Teresa, you look beautiful today. Aubrey, you look more attractive with every week. And honestly, of course he's going to leave me out. I was a battle axe. I wasn't his type. But he looks at me one day and he goes, Lisa, and I got my hopes up a little bit. Everyone wants to be noticed. And he goes, doesn't Teresa look beautiful today? And I'm like, holy crap. Do I have a secret hidden penis that he knows about? But honestly, it didn't crush me, but it goes, yeah, Lisa, because every woman's going to get to that point where you're invisible. You're either a handicapped woman, fat, old, where you just disappear. So I always say to these bitches under 30, if a guy bikes by you now saying, I want to come on your tits, savor that bitch. That's what we call the good old days.
Because it does go away.
They're ungrateful. See, they have resentment and they're ungrateful.
It goes away. It does end.
It does.
And Lisa's promoting, by the way, just to promote, you're promoting Stuffed, and it begins October the 5th. Tickets are on sale now at insultcomic.com or stuffedplay.com. And it's going to be at the West Side Theater, which is on 43rd Street, which is an awesome place.
Have you seen things out there?
I've been there, many years ago.
The Vagina Monologue started at that theater, and Nora Ephron's play Love Lesson, What I Wore. So it's this theater that really does these 4 to 5 woman shows really well. So it's me and a cast of 3 other actors talking about food addiction, weight, body image struggles, etc. But it's not morbid.
Right.
Now, it's not, I would say the first 45 minutes are just drop down funny. I mean, they're hilarious. And then, of course, we get to the bigger issues and the bottoms that we all had to fall through. But guess what? The fact is, if you're a comic, the funny, Alan Zweibel helped me write this, who was an SNL writer.
No, you wrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
Did you write the whole thing or just your part?
No. I wrote the whole thing.
You did?
Yeah. And Alan Zweibel was like a co-writer on it. And he said, Lisa, don't worry about the funny. With Billy Crystal's show, he told Billy, don't worry, you're going to be funny. Just write the real stuff first. And I think that helped me get the surgery too. It led to the fact that I eventually dealt with my food issues and decided to get the surgery. So yeah, the play's great, man. We had an off-Broadway run. Now it's going to the West Side run for like 6 months at least. I'm like, holy crap.
Wow.
Like a celebrity cast. It's going to be really gangster.
Did you say who is in it already or no?
Not yet. That's the big announce in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, October 5th previews start and telecharge.com. Jim, I always wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Telecharge.com. Because that's like Hamilton type of
Totally.
shit. Put it this way. This is off-Broadway's equivalent of Hamilton without more than one black. You always have to put one black or an Asian in order to be racially correct in these days and age.
Sure.
And there are some different races that have these food issues, as we've seen. So, think about it, Laverne Cox. You might have to be in my play for me. That's a whole different surgery.
So you don't get shit from like colleges or like anger driven stuff from them about stuff you say?
Listen, these colleges, I've never done college. I did 3 in my whole life. I always said I don't want to change a word that I say. 3 colleges agreed to that in my whole career, and it's great. But they don't even pay that much. Like, remember they paid a lot years ago? You go, if you want me to edit, that'll cost you a lot more. And I'm not having bravado here.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You understand. We just don't want to change what we do. Corporates, I've done maybe 3 also.
Me too, yeah.
I had one cancel on me. Oh my God, this was the best. It was, I'm not going to say whom, but a very famous athletic wear company wanted me to do this big corporate for them with John Legend. So it's going to be like a big thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
They cancel it because the guy who had booked it didn't share who it was in my comedy until like right at the last minute. Dude, I got the money anyway.
They paid you anyway.
Wow.
How great is that when you could make bank, bro? Like I used to say about Greg Giraldo, God rest his soul, I used to say, they pay you not to be on TV. They pay me not to do gigs. I loved sitting home and going, suck my dick, whatever Under Armour thing type of thing you are.
They found out what you did and felt like in a corporate environment it would be bad, but they're like, we'll give you the check, but just...
That was fantastic.
How far before the gig, because corporates are always a nightmare, how far before did you realize, I don't have to go do this?
Oh my God, I think it only happened like 2 weeks before. But what was cool was that they paid it. Because part of me goes, you can really fight them, and sometimes you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Like a couple months ago, I got mad because I booked a couple, before the play starts, because we start rehearsals in September. I booked a bunch of clubs in order to try new stuff for a special, because you're not going to do that in front of a theater.
Sure.
So I booked this one club. Dude, I walk up to that place. Well, I don't walk up. Come on, let's be honest. I was driven up to that club in that Hyundai. And I tell you what, this thing had not one picture of me. And I was very sad and depressed because I go, it's not going to sell out. If you don't know I'm here,
Yeah.
I felt weird. Tried to beat more money out of them because that's what the agents try to do. It didn't work, but at least you try.
When you realize something didn't sell out, and I've had those too, where it was amazing. When did that happen? Like, well, you said you did Radio City and Carnegie Hall. When did something like, wow, I'm doing this club, but it didn't sell?
I'll tell you exactly when it happened, and it hurt my feelings so bad. That's why I wrote the play. Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I will never forget. They have a small theater. It sold out the last time I did it, which is a good lesson. But years ago, about 7 years ago, when I started writing this play, I didn't sell out Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I think it was 800 seats on a Thursday night. First of all, I forgot that it was a Thursday, so I took it too personally for Thursday. But I remember looking at Jimmy, and I got tears in my eyes. I go, I can't fucking sell out Pittsfield, Massachusetts on a Thursday. I'm retiring. I go, can I retire? And he goes, you can do whatever you want. That's what was great about him. He really didn't care about money or anything. So I go, I'm out of here. I go, what do I care? I already did everything I wanted to in comedy. I don't care. The next day I wake up, I'm watching HBO. I see Carrie Fisher doing her one-person show. And I go, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a play. So Jimmy Big Balls wakes up around noon, which was his type of thing. And I go, guess what? I'm writing a play. And he goes, I thought you were fucking retiring last night. I go, no, I'm not. I'll never retire. So I start working on the play and it's ready. So that's what happens. It leads you to what you're supposed to be led to. And the big lesson is last time I was in Pittsfield, it sold out.
It did.
So I think you just got to go, I'm going to sell out some places. I'm not going to sell out others. Like, I will never sell out Dallas. I don't know why. Never. I don't know why. I think theaters maybe 2,000 or 2,500. It doesn't work.
For you, that's been a city you've never sold in.
I don't get it.
I have 90 of those. But, but I do know what you mean. There's some places, no matter how well you're doing, that one city reminds you this can happen.
That's the one who got away. I will accept not selling out in a red state that there's no gays. Like Dallas, there's gays. You're supposed to come out. But I just can't accept Dallas. It hurts my feelings. And then you go, hey, you know what? That's where you got to shift into spirituality mode where just go, whoever's supposed to see this will. And then you'll get a nice email from somebody saying like, something that helped them laugh and you feel like I did my job. Because really, is our job really about our ego? When we take the ego out of it, it doesn't matter. Like that our feelings would never get hurt if it wasn't for ego.
Yeah, that is the truth. I mean, I hurt my own feelings over nonsense.
I know.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you over what?
Over like what she's talking about.
Oh my
Like,
God, we kill ourselves.
Over like not selling out in certain cities?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Twitter followers and this and that. I have over 500,000 Twitter followers. And
Oh, that
do
hurt
you
my
know-
feelings. I only got like 100,000.
Yeah, but here's the deal. None of mine are real, I bet, because they all
just
were
bots.
fans during the... No, not that. But I think during The Apprentice, they liked me. Now they're kind of
yeah.
whatever. Because I don't get no responses. I get maybe 100 responses to a tweet. It used to be the old days was like 1,000 because it was The Apprentice, this, that. You go, you know what? This is the place I'm supposed to be. So I have to talk myself out of that ego thing a lot.
And it's funny too, because look at the other end of that. That's because The Apprentice was such a huge show. I remember I interviewed you.
Remember how big it was?
When
I
you
remember
did
that. Yes.
The Apprentice, and then you go forward. You know, you look at where you're at now, but you look at where The Apprentice is now,
Good
and
point.
nobody's
Good
watching
point.
it, and nobody on that.
Yeah, but it could then be argued that I killed that show. Maybe I did.
Maybe
But you know what's
destroyed
weird?
it.
We talked about The Apprentice last week. My manager, she's so awesome. And we're going, did The Apprentice do anything for my career? Literally nothing. Guess what happened? And it didn't hurt it at all.
No, nothing.
It cemented my reputation as a badass, but did nothing. It earned $130,000 for my charity, which is great. But Jesus Christ, that's not why I did the show.
Right.
You're all those cunty celebrities who are like, I'm doing it for my charity. No, you're doing it because you're a fucking loser with a dream. You don't even think about it. But it really didn't do anything except, guess what it did, Jim?
What?
It freaking got me recognized on the street so much. But then I get the weight loss surgery. Nobody recognizes me. It's like the universe's way of saying, Jesus Christ, get the ego out.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
You don't look like you from The Apprentice anymore.
Yeah.
So nobody's
thank
going to
God.
recognize.
I look so freaking beautiful.
You do look lovely.
Want to know what's odd, Jim? I say that, and I oddly believe it. I don't know what's wrong with me, but part of me feels that it's okay that I shop at Forever Slutty One and H&M. I go, there's something wrong with me that I think I'm 19 years old, but I don't
Right.
care. Because it's not like I'm thinking, oh, I'm more beautiful than that person. I'm like, I look better than I did 10 years ago. Fuck it.
Is that why? Is that one of the reasons why you shaved off all your hair and everything and made like a very stylistic choice?
Because I said, did Katy Perry do it? Lisa Lampanelli could do it. Like, who the hell do I think I am? Or Miley Cyrus all of that. But I think it's because you just go, let it go. Like I talked to John Cryer in the green room. He's terrific. He has a shaved head now. He goes, I was balding. I don't like it. This is so much easier. That's part of the reason, too. You say, let it go. Kind of like Frozen. Let it go. Do you have kids?
I have a little 4-month-old, so he's not into...
well, don't worry. He'll be a fag, so he'll be into Frozen.
It's just like his daddy.
Yes, there you go.
What happened with the Westboro Baptist Church?
Those evil fucks.
They really are awful.
Are you not fans?
Oh, my God. GodHatesFags.com?
Oh.
No, I love the fags. Here's what happened to me, Jim. I'll tell you the full story. I'm playing someplace near them. I think Wichita or Topeka. They tweet out that they're going to protest me. So here I'm such a moron. I go, oh, really? Well, let me get back at them. I said, good, show up, assholes. More the merrier, because everybody who shows up to protest me, I am donating $1,000 of my own money to the gay men's health crisis in New York City. So I figure nobody's going to show up because they don't want me doing that, to fuck them. They figured, let's really fuck her. 48 of them show up. I honestly believe 20 would show up. So 20 grand, that's nice. Well, there's 48 show up. So I tweet out the next day, because it got on CNN. I tweet out, oh, fuckers, 45 of you showed up, because I thought I did an accurate count.
Yeah.
Well, it was Jimmy Big Balls counting, and he's not so good with the numbers.
He's not.
So I say, okay, I'm going to up it to 50. And I gave him 50 grand. But there's nothing that feels better than they had one of those big cardboard checks made out, handing it to somebody, except when they hand it to you, it's a lot better.
A lot better. Yeah.
But dude, that felt so good. And I go, so it's 50 grand. What are we going to do? That would be the charity for the year.
Sure.
So I think after that, I didn't buy no clothes for a while. Fuck it. Well, you just do it.
You just do it. Rogan interviewed they're losing a lot of their younger members.
Yes, I heard.
Because, pop culture and all this stuff, you just can't keep people from seeing what's out there.
Right.
And I forget which one it was. She was a cute one. It might have been Megan Roper Phelps, but Joe just had her on. I haven't seen the podcast, but I think they're kind of slowly going away.
I hope so, because the old man died.
Fred Phelps,
Yeah, so that was so happy. But I just couldn't believe that really exists because, first of all, GodHatesFags.com, best name ever. I wish I thought of it because that would be my website.
I mean, it really is a marketable name.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm going to just have God Hates Chinks. But, they're very organized, those Asians. Have you learned that, too?
They don't fuck around when it comes to being socially outraged. Yeah, they'll get you.
Yeah. Well, my opening act now is a gay guy who used to be on Sirius named Frank DeCaro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was on OutQ for many years. He goes, I love my people, but we get upset over everything. He goes, I'm so sick of every time I turn around, we gays have another fucking protest going. Because he goes, at one point they wanted them to not shop in Target. And for a gay guy, that's like lifeblood. And he was like, they could change the name of Target to fuck you, you fat faggot. And I would still shop there.
Yeah.
Because there's some things, groups just get outraged over everything now. And like I said to you, hey, if my career goes down the toilet eventually because they don't want politically incorrect, hey, then it's done.
That's went down swinging.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I like to think, gay people don't honestly want to live without Chick-fil-A.
They don't.
Like,
oh my
it's
God.
so good.
Dude. It is the best. And I tour with this fag. And I said to him, Frank, we're going to a Chick-fil-A. And then he'll go to Taco Bell instead. I go, good, go have the shits. I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I don't care how Christian you are. And isn't it funny they're still not open on Sunday, those Chick-fil-A's?
I know, they're not.
They really aren't.
You get a Bible verse with every fry. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Hey, what did you think about, because Eliza just kind of stepped in shit. Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, you didn't hear? I think she was just
no.
saying that female comics, she was challenging female comics to...
She basically said that... I think she said that she's the only female comic with like a history joke, meaning that and that she walks into a club and can't tell the difference between which female comic is performing. They're all just telling jokes about their vaginas and all that, and kind of pointed herself out as somebody who's not following this sort of sameness.
Here's what you do. As a comic, I've learned this hard lesson that she will learn. You never generalize. On stage, of course, for humor. Never say I'm the first. Never say I'm the only. Somebody's going to figure out somebody who has that joke and you're going to look like a jerk and have to apologize. I don't know if she's right. I have many history jokes myself, black history, about my own history with blacks. So this is how I feel. But I see what you're saying, because I remember once Norm Macdonald was on the radio and he said something about there's no female comics out there, this is like 5 years ago, who act female. And at the time, they go, well, what about Lisa Lampanelli? He goes, she acts like a dude. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. So you can't ever get really mad about stuff that you're lumped in with. But I don't know. Who'd she get crap from? Just a lot of other female comics?
A lot of women, yeah.
You know what you do? You let it go. You let it go. Guess what? I do what I do. Am I the most original person in the world? Maybe not to some. I'm totally me. That's how only person I could be. They say, oh, you rip off Rickles. I say, I never directly stole one of his jokes, but if I happen to have the same beautiful lovability that he and Jim Norton have, then I have to deal with that.
Right.
So yeah, I just learned in the business, because Joan Rivers, God rest her soul, she would be very mean about other female comics.
Was she?
Oh, she was terrible to me. Oh, I'm in her book. And I understood. See, this is why it's lucky I was interviewed about her years later after I worked on myself, because I can't come down on her. Because guess what? She was a dented can like the rest of us. I say we're all dented cans.
What did she say about you in her book?
Oh, not original. No. I was quoted, she said on the air that I was unoriginal, that I only talked about the blacks. And this is years later when that's not true. And I go, I didn't even get mad. I was hurt a little because she's an icon.
Sure.
I let it go. Comics have been mean to me the whole time. Jim remembers. They made me miserable at the cellar. I was way too soft for the cellar. I would come there, bring a book and read because it hurt me all the time. So I always go, look, the three people who were meanest to me, and this is true, Patrice O'Neill, Greg Giraldo, Joan Rivers. They all got one thing in common.
That's true.
They're in the fucking ground. Guess who's still up here swinging? And so you just got to go with other comics. Just shut your mouths.
Did you know Patrice felt bad about his relationship with you?
He called
regretted
into
that.
a radio show and he apologized. And they played it. Paul and Young Ron.
That's right.
Played it the whole weekend because no one could believe Patrice O'Neill apologized. And it was so heartwarming that by the end he did that. I just thought that was real gentlemanly.
Jeff Garland tells a story similar to that too. Like he just at the end he was like, I've been that guy. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you had that moment or that like, wow, that moment of self-reflection that he wasn't sick. I mean, it wasn't like he knew he was going to die, but he just came to that place where he was like, I'm fucking with people. Like, and you forget that it has a real effect on real people.
I remember it really was what shut me down at the cellar, because I remember the first time I ever talked to Patrice was when, so many years ago. We were both kind of newish, but he had been on TV already on Conan, his first big Conan. He comes in and there was nobody else there. So he talked to me. So I was like, the loser who he talked to. And he was asking me something about a girl that he liked and advice and whatever. I remember coming in the next day, all you guys were there. So he had somebody else to talk to. So I walk in and like the kid at school, I just go, hi, Patrice. He goes, look, just because we talked once doesn't mean we're friends. Do you know what that fucking does to you when you don't know anyone else?
Right.
And you feel like, oh my God, shut me down. I was never comfortable at the cellar again. I go every night till I started doing theaters about 15 years ago. I've never been in the cellar since.
Really?
Or any comedy club in the city. Not because I don't want to. I never do spots. I don't want to do spots. Like, my life, thank God, is in Connecticut for the most part, where I really have family and friends.
Is that where you're living?
Both New York and Connecticut. But I don't feel my time is well spent at clubs. It doesn't profit me. But boy, did it hurt. It hurts your feelings. They forget you're still dented.
I think I've said this on the air before, but Patrice was dismissive of Jess the first time he met her, which he was as my wife, girlfriend at the time, which he was of girlfriends.
Sure.
And like years later, this was the summer before he died, I reintroduced her as if they hadn't met before, just to kind of ease awkwardness.
Right.
And he took full ownership and apologized.
Wow,
like just right there, and like blew Jess, and Jess had carried it for years, like knowing that like she wasn't treated right. And I was like, oh, it's Patrice. Like,
but we do carry it, and that's what's great. I remember when the New Yorker magazine, or New York, was doing a big retrospective on Patrice, and it was right after his death, probably a month or so, and really deep piece, and they were interviewing everybody. So they call me for an interview, and I go, of course I talked to him, and I go, I fucking hated him. I go, yeah, he apologized. He fucking ruined about 10 years of my life. And of course now I know he was my best teacher. Come on. So I go, he was horrible. I go, just because he died doesn't mean I'm going to switch my story and say he was a great guy. So what's great is it fit in with the story. Great. It was nice. Sure. I get an email from his wife, I guess, and she goes, you are the best. Patrice would have fucking loved that you stuck to your guns like that. And what's funny is then I'm able to let it go.
Right,
I know he would have liked that.
He would have said you were right. I was shitty to her.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? You know who I always loved when he was shitty to me, because he always apologized because he's a big fucking pussy like me? Voss. Rich Voss would literally, he'd say something, by the way, anything he said to you to diss you was so funny that you almost didn't care. But he'd come up the next day and go, Lampanelli, okay, right? Because he's all AA.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and he's also a coward. He's a brave coward.
Or maybe he thought I'd make it and he wouldn't. He wanted to get on the old gravy train. But honestly, I was like, that's really sweet. But I always thought, like, who I quote Jim Norton so much, and I can't believe it, because, I always talk about Seinfeld, how he used to stop at the cellar and just not be nice and just kind of not, and be like above it and just sort of not a nice guy, but not nasty, but never friendly. And Norton, I said once to Norton, that fucking Seinfeld thinks who the fuck he is, huh? And Norton said something to me like, he is who he is. Like, he is that guy. He was that guy before. He's going to be that guy now. He has a lot of responsibility. So that's just he's just being who he is. And that teaches you acceptance of people. They're not going to be who you want them to be.
But I'm such a fucking weasel. I was probably hoping it would get back to Jerry and he'd use me.
Codependent idiot.
But no, when you see somebody who's consistently that person, you're like, okay, that's who that person is. Right. That's how they interact with people. It's worse when you see somebody who starts out a certain way and then goes through it and then all of a sudden becomes a cunt. That's kind of frustrating.
The worst.
You're like, oh, fuck.
They said the same thing about Daniel Tosh, and I don't even know if this is true because I've never met him. Said he's always been an asshole and he's still an asshole.
Is he? I met Tosh one time. He interviewed me when they were doing, before he had a show, he was doing some like stuff for Comedy Central at a festival in Florida. It's the only time I think I've ever interacted with him.
Right. But I love when people stay who they are.
We have to wrap up. The computer cuts us off.
Yes.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm happy you came in, Lisa. And I'm happy to see you. You can get Stuffed. It begins October 5th. Lisa's play. I'm dying to see this. I really want to come see this.
Thank you.
On sale now. Go to stuffedplay.com
or telecharge.com. InSaltComedy.com and ignore Hamilton and come see my show.
Yeah, go see Lisa's show. It's something
Yeah.
unique and new. And InSaltComic.com for her dates. And we're roasting Voss tonight at the Village Underground.
Oh my God, I heard about that, and I think I lied and said I was out of town. And I'll tell you why, just because, like, really, do I really want to come in the city for that? I live in Connecticut.
You were smart to say no. I should have. And Chip Chipperson podcast is up if you want to go see it. And we will be back tomorrow. Who do we have tomorrow?
Burnt Chrysler, he's a new comic.
Yes.
And
Krista Stefano.
Yes.
And and who? And Voss. All right.
Oh, and
really,
Voss?
Voss?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a
Voss,
busy show tomorrow.
I'll miss you tonight, but really, I got to go to the beach. Bye.
I'm going to Pittsburgh this